just realised you have to turn the music down, don't you, so you guys can actually hear what I'm saying. Hello, everybody. How's it going? Okay. We are properly live by the looks of things. How are you doing? It goes live tonight. It does. It goes live in an hour's time. Allegedly. I have chocolate. Who needs sleep? No one needs sleep. Sleep's for the week. Or the weekend. I see we had a new member before we even started the stream. Mr. Glitch, thank you very much. That is very kind of you. Unpopular prediction. New contrast paints announcement. Oh, I would love that. I would love that greatly. That would be a very popular prediction around these parts. Maybe not across the internet. Coffee for the caffeine god. I have my Coca-Cola Zero. That shall suffice. I have a crippling kill team addiction, so I must stay awake for the reveals. Well, you'll be pleased to hear, then, that I did another part of the most recent box. Yesterday, in fact, I did this. So the statue's done. So there you go. I've also been working on this today. This has been the job today. For those who haven't been following along on Instagram, I just got this to battle ready. Hang on, there you go. So I need to glaze the blue, do all the highlights. It's a couple of relayers naturally, but that's where we got to with it. That's what we've been working on today. And if we weren't streaming tonight, we might finish it. But we are streaming tonight. We've got 55 minutes. Maybe we'll get bored talking about the build-up to ADEPTICON and then the, in fact, actual reveals. And maybe I will do a little bit of filming on it. Who knows? We shall see. We shall find out. Sup, boss? You want to know what I want to know? How do you store your insane amount of models? Badly is the answer. A lot of them are just out on tables or on shelves. Most of them are just out on tables and on shelves. There's obviously these cabinets here and here, which are useful for holding some stuff. And then out in the shed, I've got a big bookcase as well. And then I've got a table that is just covered in models. There's a table around the corner where I do all my photography. That's covered in models. And then I've got some extra Kallax IKEA cube storage that's also covered in models. I have models everywhere. You can't move for models in this room. That's why we need to sell some. The Cajun Wargamer, thank you very much for becoming a member. Legendary. That is 2 new members already. I have a good feeling about tonight's stream. The Lord Celestin on Star Trek is amazing. As a Stormcast player, it's so cool. I agree. I painted one of these almost 8-9 years ago. I painted a Drake Sworn Templar, not like this. And now I'm painting it like this. and I'm very, very pleased with it. I think it looks great. So like I said, we've got still quite a way to go on this, but it's looking pretty good, don't you think? All your work is absolutely stunning. I just watched the Zangor Shaman video. Oh, thank you, Grey Stang. That's very kind of you. I suppose I could actually work on these two bases, actually. That's something I do need to do this evening. Keep promising myself I'll get on with it, and I haven't gotten on with it, so therefore it hasn't been done. Way, as per usual. Assault Terminators, let's go. I don't think you'll be seeing Assault Terminators tonight, I'm afraid. What are the predictions for tonight? I think we'll see at least a new Codex, at least a new Battle Tome, the Wood Elves, and a new season of Kill Team. Loving the Git mob vids. Any plans for the Warboys Chariot? I have built a Frazzlegit Shaman. Rather than the War Boss, because, well, yeah, I built the Frazzlegit Shaman. I don't know if I'm going to do it sort of in the next week or two. I don't know if I'm going to do it for a little while. At the moment, I'm kind of tentatively doing what I want to at the moment, you know? I'm trying to take care of number one, whilst also producing content for all of you guys. But as an example, I put Alfarius into the drink last night. So, not last night, this afternoon. So he's now currently being washed and ready to be scrubbed and built. Because I want to do the Alfarius and Mortarion Primarch models from the Age of Darkness. I want to get them done, so that'll be fun. My Copium is wishing for a Tyranid kill team finally. I think you could be in with a good shout to get a Tyranid kill team tonight. My prediction is that we'll see a Tyranid and Tyrannic War Veterans kill team to launch a new season of Kill Team. Not a new edition, but a new season. Ever think about doing kit bashing? Yeah, I think I don't want to do any kit bashing. I think the thing with kit bashing, right, is I think what you're better off doing is finding somebody who really loves kit bashing, because they'll make really good videos on it. Whereas I don't like kit bashing, so I wouldn't make very good videos on it. If you see what I mean. Like I dislike building, so making building harder is something I avoid at all costs. Hello James, how are you doing? Tetzimok says salamanders. Salamanders tonight? Could see salamanders tonight. I don't know. Bearing in mind we're seeing 40k, Age of Sigmar, Kill Team, and the Old World. They might throw in a sneak peek of something else at the end, but I don't think we're going to be seeing Horus Heresy, for example, because they've not said that we are. It's not on the list, and it's very rare that they do something that's not on the list goes in. So you might see something that's like a teaser video right at the end, like they did with the Emperor's Children when they first announced them, with just the logo flashed up on screen. But I seriously doubt we're going to see anything like... anything that's not one of those four things. Painted a killer boss on Vulture watching your Gobsprak video last week. First time using contrast. Great video tutorial. Thank you, Ian. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It's kind of neat though. Saw a cool kit bash idea for Assault Termies for Blood Angels that use Deathwing Knights as a base. No, it is cool. I would never disrespect those out there who love to kit bash. My thing with kit bashing, as has so often been proved in this edition, you've seen a lot of models that have been kit bashed by a lot of people to make bigger versions of the models that have now been replaced with new versions of the models. So, for that very reason alone, I wouldn't do it. You know? Like, I wouldn't kit bash a bunch of Assault Terminators because it's entirely likely that eventually some Assault Terminators are going to come out. And it might be that Assault Terminators come out and they no longer have access to Thunder Hammers and Storm Shields. So therefore I put all that work in to build and put together a unit. Spent a lot of money on doing that as well. And now it's functionally useless. That's why I won't touch Space Wolves at the moment. Exactly. It's a good point, Zangerous. Never know what's going to happen to Space Wolves. Space Wolves might get an absolute culling. You know, there is a bunch of things that could happen for Space Wolves, and some of them good, and some of them bad. But who knows? As a French painter and player, I've watched all your tutorials for every model I'm painting. Thank you so much for your videos. Oh, thank you, Horston. I'm glad I could help. I'm glad you enjoyed them. I just remembered I used your Magnus video to help me paint an airbrush mine. That was great looking too. Perfect. Also love your Dark Angels and Stormcast Eternal painting tutorials. Helped me out a lot with figuring out various techniques I'd never tried before. I like it. I like it a lot. Red Butchers for the World Eaters when? Daddy Corn needs some more toys. I think you're going to be very disappointed about what World Eaters are getting. If I had to guess, World Eaters are probably going to get a generic Lord on foot, but all the demons. That's what I would guess. It's what's definitely happening with Death Guard. Death Guard are getting their character, and then they're getting the demons. And I suspect Thousand Suns will be the same. Just wanted to say thank you for your videos. Excellent background noise for painting my minis. Perfect. Whether I'm in the foreground or the background, as long as you guys are enjoying them, liking them, like you should like this stream, because we have 148 people watching currently and only 35 likes. We need to pump those numbers, you know? You can do it, chat. I believe in you. You can pump those numbers to at least 50 likes on the stream. Because if you like the stream, then more people find the stream. And then they come and join our wonderful little community of lovely, awesome, beautiful people that you are out there. And they're hanging out with me tonight. And then they subscribe to the channel. Hopefully. And that gets us closer, one step closer on the road to 100,000 subs. That's where we're going. That's where I hope we're going. One day. I mean, we technically only need 18,194 more steps on that road. That's a lot of steps. It's a lot of people. So if you can help me out with that, that's the free way to support the channel. If you want to support the channel a little bit further, because you really appreciate what I do, you can consider becoming a member. If you're not already. But if you are already, you could consider gifting some memberships to some of the people out there who might want to become a member of the channel, and then they get access to things like the Discord, which is really cool. It's a cool Discord. You should hang out in it. One character and their demons, and not much else besides a new combat patrol box. Yeah, well, see, look, that for me, it's kind of like you could see them blow their load, as it were, on Death Guard, Thousand Suns, and World Eaters, but they are already doing that with the release of the God Legion that is the Emperor's Children. So I could see that actually the other God Legions just getting a character, or maybe a unit, and then getting a new combat patrol plus all of their demons in, because then you can say that the range of those armies has almost doubled. You know, especially like World Eaters. They got all these new miniatures. Like what? Scarbrand, Bloodthirster, Skulltaker, not Karanak, flesh hounds, and so on and so forth. Eric Meehan, thank you very much for becoming a member, and Scary Campfire Stories, also thank you very much for becoming a member. That is incredibly kind of you. And then Eric, thank you so much for the 1 gifted membership as well. That puts us on 332. That's very kind of you. Thank you so much. Weldy has also got the kill team. You are correct, Sam Restian. They did get the new kill team. Got the Goremongers the other day. So, you know. I do have a 100% hit rate of painting videos for World Eaters currently. Goremongers video is coming very, very soon. Scary Campfire Stories with the 5 gifted Warhipster memberships. Absolutely incredible. Let those next few Citadel pots you buy be on me. That's very kind of you, Scary Campfire Stories. I actually do have to do another paint order. I feel like I'm relentlessly doing paint orders at the moment, but it's because I'm in that awkward... You know those awkward phases where you run out of a paint, right? You have a bunch of different armies. You run out of a paint, so you buy a replacement for that paint. And then the next one runs out and you buy that one. And then all of a sudden... 10 of your paints are suddenly you need to replace all of them. That's what I've been going through in the last sort of month and a half. Is I'm just suddenly going, oh god, I'm all out of Cyberite green, for example. Like I already need to get another pot of Emperor's Children because I've nearly drained a pot. Because I have these old pots of paint that then a new faction comes out that I end up using a bunch of paint for, and I'm like, aha, cool, and it just goes back on the shelf and then I forget to replace it. Thanks for all of your vids, man. They help me every time I paint. It's very kind of you, Eric. You're helping me out now. It's a two-way street. It's very kind of you. I appreciate it. Thank you. I love your Inner Circle Companions video. Pterodon Turquoise and Black Templar. Greater than Dark Angels Green. Thank you, Matt. I think that's the... I think that technique of doing a colour followed by Black Templar is the most underrated technique that a bunch of people slept on for the entirety of the first wave of contrast paints. It's just unfortunate that I was growing a channel during that time, because if I already had a channel that was big, I think everybody would see it and have gone, oh, actually, there's something to these contrast paints, instead of even playing catch-up for the past 5 years. Can you believe it? Channel's been around. I launched the channel in 2019. In July 2019. So we'll be coming up on our 6-year anniversary soon. It's cool. We're almost at 10. We're over halfway to 10. I would currently be working on converting my Lord Terminos into a Dark Angels Judicia, but sadly I'm laid up with a broken ankle and can't get into my paint room. Oh, Richard, man, that sucks. I know exactly how it feels to have a broken ankle, having done it twice in my life to the same ankle. Oh, I'm sorry. I really sympathise with your pain. Ankle twice, wrist twice, toes multiple times, finger once. I think that's it for broken bones. I've broken a lot of bones. I forget them all. I'm getting to an age now where I forget my injuries. Can't wait to drink 'em, Scary Campfire. Thank you. Have you tried Colour Forge paint? They have sprays that are exact matches for Grey Seer and Wraithbone. I have. I have tried the Colour Forge sprays. I really like them. I will say that. I think Colour Forge sprays are excellent. I think what they are better at doing is producing sprays that aren't the Grey Seer and Wraithbone reproductions. It's not that they're not colour matched, it's just that they're not texture matched. So actually I find that you end up having a slightly glossier finish with the Gracie and Wraithbone equivalents, which then means that the contrast paint can sometimes bead up on it, as opposed to when you do it over Gracie and Wraithbone, which has got a little bit more of a kind of texture to it. It's a little bit more... it's a bit rougher as a primer. It's a bit more powdery, which initially sounds like it's a bad thing. It doesn't look powdery, but it's got a bit more grip to it, which means it doesn't tend to bead up when you use it over the top of the contrast-specific sprays. Whereas if you just colour match them with the same primer formula that you use for all the other primers, you can sometimes get that slight beading effect, where it kind of just goes, bleh. It kind of like runs away from the corners. That they are good. It just means that all you have to do with the Colourforge stuff is once you've primed it, let it fully dry, and just buffer it. Just use like a round dry brush, a round-headed dry brush, and just, not like too hard, but just like give it a good, almost like a dusting. And then what will happen is it just creates a little bit of those kind of micro tears, very, very micro tears, which just helps the contrast adhere a little bit more, and kind of just wipes away a bit of that kind of oily finish. But yeah, they are very good. Legionnaires, and after waiting 5 minutes to say I thought I was already subbed because of all the corn videos I've watched, and then to say people run out of paint before it dries up. Yes, I run out of paint all the time. Restream bot. Thank you very much for the $100. Fund a fun MESBG thing you want. Well, that's incredibly kind of you. We will do just that. Jacob, thank you very much for the $2. Are we getting giant crabs? Because we need them. I don't know about you. It depends what company you've been mixing with. But maybe we'll get giant crabs. Oh, thank you very much for your stream, but that is incredibly generous of you. Fund a fun MESBG thing when you want. I need to get a box of Last Alliance elves, that's for sure. Because I've got Mirkwood elves, I've got the Galadrim, and I need the Rivendell elves because I want to do a video that's, you know, the age of the elves is over. My people are leaving these lands. So yeah, I'm just going to do a video that collects all three. You got the Mirkwood elves finally? Sweet. I did get them. They are here. So yeah, we're just going to do all three in one video. And then what I might follow it up with, because I have got Glorfindel, is I might follow it up with Glorfindel, Elrond, and maybe we'll see a Gil-galad. I don't know if Gil-galad is going to get a new model, but I'm trying my best as well to get my... I realised that was you, Restream bot. But there we go. Thanks for teaching me to paint. Been getting tons of compliments on my army. Excellent, Andrew. That's what I like to hear. You deserve compliments on your army because you put a lot of time and effort into that, and you deserve it. I just helped tell you where to put the colours. That's, you know, that's how we roll around here. I don't currently really want an ADEPTICON army, but a giant crab monster would pretty much make me start one. I am 100% with you there, Brian. I'm very excited to see if we're going to see ADEPTICON tonight. What are we going to see? I hope they don't just get some... they don't just get an Achillean such and such. Riding an octopus. Which would be fun, but if it's just a character, that's lame. We like more. So many fun-funded MESBG projects funded at this point. Thrandaddy, Mirkwood Elves, some other random thing. Yeah, no, we've got a lot of MESBG to get through. I'm looking forward to some of the stuff that they've previewed. We've had Prince Imrahil. We've had the Hobbit Troll Catapult. What else? Bolg. That's also been previewed. I think there's more to come. Hera on horse. That's a gorgeous miniature. I want that very much. Somebody say MESBG. Ricky's here. Ricky's ears were burning. Packing some Gondor troops right now from a box I got in 2003. Sick. I love it. I'm looking forward to visiting Bad Moon Cafe next time I'm in London. It's not far from my office. Bad Moon Cafe is an excellent place. They're wonderful people. It's a wonderful vibe. It's awesome. Take a couple of friends down. You can just have a coffee table and play board games on it, or take some armies and rent a table. You can play a game there. Or just hang out and talk to the staff. They're really knowledgeable, really cool, and really awesome, chill people. And also, if you don't want a coffee, you can have a beer instead. It's lovely. Jacob, thank you very much for the $2. We just got out of Slanesh party. Crabs confirmed. Good point. Good point. What are the odds of a Canis Rex painting tutorial at some point in the future? I want to start a Knight's Army, but I'm afraid to paint a mini you don't have a tutorial for. What are the odds of it? Well, I would need to buy one, basically. So, if in the future I have the opportunity to get my hands on one, then it's certainly possible. Canis Rex is on the list of things to make a video for. Because he's a big thing. I like to paint all the big things. So, Stardrake as an example, Nagash, Rotigus, Kairos, Fate Weaver. These are the things that are on my list. Canis Rex is on there as well. Eidolon and Mathlan as well. But yeah, we shall see. I can't tell you exactly when it's going to be, though. Time is an illusion, but I have none of it. Why are you bullying yourself? Am I? Was I negative self-talking again? Am I being bad? Stop it. Canis is now funded. There you go. Restream. That's incredibly kind of you. Thank you very, very, very much. I appreciate that greatly. But stop it. Room... Or don't, you know, choice is yours. Support how you like. Okay, well we'll pick up a Canis Rex then. We'll get one. We'll get one ordered. We'll get one on order. Again, I don't know when, but I'll get it ordered. I'll get it here, and then it's in the bag. Is there a contrast paint for white? I hate using Corax white. There's lots of paints that are great at shading white. Unfortunately, the best thing you can do is prime it white and then shade it. If you want to avoid doing any layering, then use recessed shades instead. And at that point, you can go for a number of different things. You can go for a Tyran blue as a recessed shade for a really blue shading, Nuln Oil for a slightly greyish one, or Apothecary for a lighter shading as well. Soulblight Grey also really works. But you're better off in that case if you don't want to do any layering of white. Prime it with White Scar and then recess shade, and then you only have to do little touch-ups here and there. That's the best thing for it. Contrast paints are a filter that brings down the colour that's underneath them rather than layering up. You're layering down with contrast paints, so the brighter you start, the more headroom you've got to come down, if you see what I mean. Whereas base and layer paints are about layering up from a colour. And the way I do it is I shade the whole thing and then relayer it with Corax White. That's why I do it that way. So I'm feeling dumb. What is IDK when people are talking about Warhammer armies? It is Ideneth Deepkin, is what it means. Or I don't know. But it is Ideneth Deepkin. Noob question here. I've been following your Demon Prince video and I was wondering if you can mix contrast paint on a wet palette. I'm sure some people out there will say that you can. I would recommend that you do not. The reason being is that you're adding water to a very temperamental paint, which means you can't control how thinned down your paints are. So by very nature of once you put the contrast paint in, you are immediately diluting that colour. So you're taking the power of contrast paint out by putting it onto a wet palette. It's not like base and layer paints, which lose their power, but they stay the same color all the way through. So the more and more you thin down a Mephiston red, it still stays Mephiston red. It's just thinner and thinner and thinner. Contrast paint, as soon as you start thinning it down, you lose its power much quicker than you do a base or layer paint, and therefore by extension it becomes a different color if you're painting in a contrast style. So I would recommend that you don't use contrast paints on a wet palette for that reason. You can add thinner like Lamia medium, contrast medium, airbrush thinner, flow improver, speed paint medium, express color medium. You can add those things to thin it down to improve the flow or change the color, but don't add water. Try your hardest not to add water, as it were. Have a great stream. Can't wait to watch it later. Oh, thank you, Jacob. 8,000 models unpainted in my backlog. Need to add to yours. Fair. That's a fair reason. Almost forgot this. I've got my days all mixed up this week. I've been questioning whether I've got it right that it is tonight. I'm 99.999% certain that it is in fact tonight. I don't want the channel. I want... Shush. I might just have to go to Warhammer Community to get the link. 30 minutes. Yes. 30 minutes to go. We're nearly there. Woo. I am following them. So it should come up when I look for them, but it's not for some reason. I can never get my head around Twitch. You know? Warhammer. There they are. Check out this Warhammer stream from 2 months ago. No. Will Fulgrim be included on a tutorial? The new plastic demon version, as soon as I get it in my hands, either free from Games Workshop to review, and if they do send it to me to review, then I shall not only sprue review it, I shall do a video on it. If they don't, then you can probably see a tutorial from me 3 to 4 weeks after everybody else has already put theirs out. I wonder what my ADHD will cause me to start buying and building after tonight's preview. Oh, yeah, that's something I end up with all the time. Broken Bones stuff. Oh, yes. Yes. I genuinely can't remember how many times I've broken a bone. That is surprising, because I used to show off about it. As a business owner, I'm curious, what is your relationship with Games Workshop like? Do they ever ask you for your input on company direction, creative things, or customer relations? They don't, no. I think they're fairly confident in what they're doing, and I also think because the very nature of them as a business, they're massive, right? So it's very difficult for them to change course, as it were. So if they were to, you know, if at the point that they were to trust somebody who doesn't work for them with, you know, what do you think we need for a contrast paint lineup? They've already decided at that point. And if they haven't decided, I imagine that it would be a case that it wouldn't then happen for 3 to 4 years. Is the end. But they're just massive. It's just a massive business at this point. I have a backlog of Dark Angels, Custodes, Craftworld, GSC, Tyranids, Necrons, along with my friends CSM and Mechanicum sitting on my shelves. That needs to be worked on. That is a lot of miniatures, Richard Lee. A couple of questions I have that I don't think I asked before. Why do you glue models like the lion to the base? Wouldn't that make it a lot harder to get to under the places? It's a fair question. The reason I do it is because I don't want to hold the model with my grubby mitts. I don't want to drill a hole in it, put a pin in it, and then add it to some cork, and then try and hold it with a with a different thing. I don't want to do any of that, because that, to me, is just not going to help me at all. And the only benefit that you get from that, or at least in my opinion, the only benefit you get from that is being able to paint the one place that you're never ever going to see and no one else is ever going to see. Same reason why I don't really generally tend to sub-assembly. I only will a sub-assembly if I think it's absolutely necessary, because a piece is very difficult to get to and you can see it. So it's like, you can sub-assembly everything, but really what's so important about making sure that you've highlighted the like third rung down of the undersuit of a Space Marine's head? It doesn't matter, because you will never ever see it. So it's pointless, in my opinion. It's just it's time spent doing things that aren't important. So the reason I don't leave things off the base is for that reason. And the video, I don't want the video to start with, well, firstly, priming it's going to be a nightmare, because I'll end up having to come up with some priming mechanism that's going to be difficult, that isn't just, you know, priming it on a piece of card and then standing outside in 20 minutes and waiting for it to dry to then flip it over, for example. So there's a lot of challenges with doing it in one way. To my mind, there's challenges that I don't want to have to overcome in one way, versus the one challenge that is being able to get inside the seam right next to his butt, which is covered completely and you can't see it ever. So that's why, basically, in that regard. I imagine you are a huge positive for them. Well, I try to be. Is there a plan to do the whole Fellowship set? Yes. Because it's within arm's reach, that means it's happening. There's a lot of stuff that isn't within arm's reach, but there is a plan. You have, in essence, taken over a huge part of their customer relationship. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. Have you ever been tempted to go to the dark side and do some vids using Army Painter speed paints? I've tried out Army Painter speed paints, and they weren't for me. The reason being that, whilst I think they're very good in some respects, and I think they've got some really nice shades of colour, they've got a lot of shades of colour that aren't quite the same as the things that I want them to be. So in my mind, it takes a little bit more work to use them to do what I want to do. And I'm completely unfamiliar with the range. So I wouldn't be making videos from a point of expertise. I would be making videos from a point of, I don't know what I'm doing with these and I don't know what the right one is. There's a couple of other reasons which a lot of people get very cross at me for saying this, and they argue with me all the time about how I'm wrong because I have a difference of opinion to them. But I don't like using dropper bottles. I just don't enjoy it because I'm an idiot. Let's just to be clear, the reason I don't like using dropper bottles is when I use a dropper bottle, I turn it all the way upside down, and every single time I've done that, I forget that there's a mixing ball on it. So I squeeze really hard to get the paint out, and then it all just goes kapow at the end. And then I have tons of paint everywhere. Genuinely, that's the reason. That's one of the reasons why I don't like using them. It's because of my own, you know, my brain, I cannot remember that there's a mixing ball in there. So you have to tilt it at a certain angle to make sure that it doesn't clog the nose. And I'm like, nah. At this point, I'd rather just whip it out the pot. It's minor things like that, but you know, there's the ergonomics of using a certain thing, and the reason why some people don't use a certain mouse or a certain keyboard. Why don't you like using this? Well, I don't like the way it feels on my thumb. Fair enough. I think that's fair. You know. Like, I like the pots. I know it's insane, but I like the pots. You inspired me to collect Iron Jaws. Loved your painting tutorials for them. Have since started painting my Blood Angels using your guide. That's awesome. Dark Badger 87. Also, excellent name. Excellent name. Are there any models you would consider necessary for sub-assembly? Maybe Lionel Johnson. Honestly, I don't think there are. I think that a lot of focus is put on sub-assembling everything and making things like I said, it's all about personal preference, right? It's like, what's important to you as the hobbyist? You know, what's the thing that you really want to do, and what are you comfortable doing? And if you really like building miniatures, then, you know, cutting all the pieces off and cleaning them all up and then putting them all on little metal rods in order to paint them pieces individually so that you can then put them all together at the final hurdle. If that's something that you really like and that pleases your brain, then you should absolutely go ahead and do it. I don't like doing it that way. I like painting up the model and seeing the whole thing come to life rather than focusing so much attention on a shield. Because it's like, I'm not improving my workflow by doing it. You see what I mean? Good morning, Dan. The only one I've ever really sub-assembled because I thought it was kind of necessary was Belisarius Call. And occasionally, very occasionally, some come up in my videos every so often that I feel like you should do it. But like I thought when I was building the Doom Diver catapult that would be one that needed to be sub-assembled. But when I dry fit the components to see what it was like to put them together, that model's horrible to put together. It's really horrible to put together. So actually sub-assembling that will make a final assembly really tough. Really tough. Anyone else excited for the Netflix Devil May Cry anime? I am. Kevin Conroy is in it, I believe. May he rest in peace. Did Thran Daddy ever come back in stock in the UK? It might have done. I've checked it constantly and it still hasn't. I'm not sure if it's in stock now. We can go and have a look. Games Workshop. Thran Daddy. Thranduil. Thranduil, King of the Woodland Realm on Elk, is not in stock. The one on foot is, but it's kind of lame. And I don't want that. Because it looks bad. Is this the one that's done in... Is this an expert kit? No, it can't be. This one must be fine cast resin. Must be. Because it looks awful. What contrast colours would you recommend for a World War I English uniform? World War I English uniform. It's kind of vaguely brown, isn't it? Kind of looks like snakebite leather, really, would be a closest option. Maybe something a little bit darker than that. Snakebite leather, maybe shaded with... You definitely want to do it over Grace here. Wraithbone would be way too warm. It's quite muted colours, that's the problem with contrast paints and historicals. because contrast paints can be quite vivid and bright, whereas historical colours are obviously quite muted in their snakebite leather you would probably get away with as being the majority colour, and then you could shade it with some Agrax Earth shade, but I would recommend doing it over grey. So you could probably get reasonably close if you checked out my Deathcore of Krieg videos. That would be reasonably close to that uniform, I think. I reckon. Where are we? We want to go to Twitch. See if they're live yet. They are! Hooray! Which means we can start sorting our lives out. And pause the music. Studio mode. Oh, no, hang on. What have I done? What have I done? We want to put it into that. Get rid of the Steam chat. Head over here. Go like that. Click that one. And pull up Twitch. Maybe if I just make this a wee bit bigger. Don't know how much of that's going to cut off. I think we should be fine. Wait, hang on. Hang about. There we go. That looks pretty good to me. And then if I just minimize some things. There we go. We should be groovy. But let me know, guys, if you can see nothing at all. How's that? Does that look... Let me just sort this out just a little bit. There we go. If I press that. We can you hear it? And how can you hear me over the top of it? That's the question. I mean, I have to keep talking because this is the DMCA music, so if they hear this without my voice, then everyone I'll just immediately get I immediately get nope. You can't, not allowed, not allowed, not allowed, not allowed, not allowed. There we go. Perfect. Excellent. Alright, we'll mute it just for the moment. And we can come back over here to the face cam. Hello, it's my face again. Cool. We're nearly ready, guys. 10 minutes to go. All the reveals are in community. Oh, don't tell me. Every reveal. Oh, God, they have. Oh, no. No. No, it's not there. That's the pre-article, I hope. Oh God. Don't tell me I stayed up for that. That would be hilarious. We've got new factions, miniatures, codexes, spearheads, and more to show you. Apparently. So that's a lot. Apparently there's quite a lot of stuff coming. Seb 2.0 says 100 likes. We have got to 100 likes. That's incredible. Thank you so much, guys. Can we get to 200 likes? The thumbnail of that article does indeed show... Oh, it's Beasts of Chaos. Interesting. So not Wood Elves. Interesting. Interesting indeed. That looks like a space wolf to me as well. Well, it's also spoiled on their Instagram story, so more coordinated than a community post. Oh, God. Are you sure? Really? Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Well, they're not showing off all the things yet. It's just a thumbnail, possibly a Russ reveal. I will be surprised. If you listen to music like this when you go number 2, respect. That's fair, Batman. Also, hello, Batman. The reveals went out on Signal. Very good. Very topical, Ian Clark. Fist. Warhammer logo. Fire emoji. Right. Okay. Well. Okay. So we've seen a little bit of what we were guessing about. There is indeed codexes and battle tomes. So there we go. Shouldn't it be an arm up emoji? It should. Fate Zero. Predictions on the Death Guard combat patrol. Well, I don't know. YouTube never notifies me. Did I miss it? Nope. It is about to start in 7 minutes. 7 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. 7 minutes. If you have any predictions not based on the pictures we've already seen, or you have super chats, or you have memberships to gift, or you just you want to scream, now's the time to do it. Now is the time to do it right now. In the next 6 minutes, we've got 6 minutes left to go, and then we'll be ready. We'll be ready for the ADEPTICON 2025 starting soon live stream, apparently. I will warn you that there might be ads on Twitch because I refuse to give them my Prime sub or subscribe to them to avoid the ads, because that is a silly thing to do. They don't need my Twitch money. So I can only apologise if you see a number of ads for Oral-B, or as it was a couple of streams ago, an endless thing about the Ghostbusters movie. Just constantly was like, hey, I know you're watching this thing, but Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters? How about Ghostbusters? New Warcry, please. Who knows? I've just noticed you've painted 165 so far this year. I've only painted 5, 3 Blade Guard and 2 Reclusians. Yes. I have painted 165. I'm working on model 166 at the moment. This is my job, remember. Oh, there's an ad for Ionos. I own this. You can tell I watch a lot of ads. There's also a very slight chance we are getting new World Eaters and Thousand Suns. Well, yeah. They're one new character for those factions. Hey! Why don't you use YouTube livestream from Warhammer? No ads. Because theirs is always... It's often a... Okay, let me have a look. Oh, yeah, they do have... Shush. Problem is we have to hide the chat. Go away. How does that look? Over on the tube. We could just stay in the YouTube land, couldn't we? I will minimize these things so I can stop. How does that look? You guys see it okay? Yeah? If I unmute? Can you hear it? I can't hear it. Oh, there we go. I can hear it. Oh. Hang on a minute. Josh Krieger, thank you very much for becoming a member. That is very, very kind of you. Demogorgon, good morning. How are you, good sir? I'm very well. How are you? No quiz today. No, they've stopped doing the quizzes. It's sad. Sad, very sad. Big sad. Sadly. Oh, I mean, look, we'll just hang out on YouTube, shall we? You know. Hopefully they don't immediately send it to a weird preview. It's the premiere thing. When they started streaming them on YouTube, they were actually video premieres, which meant that when you opened it on YouTube at the time of when it was due to go live, the same as everyone else, you had to sit through the 5-minute "it's almost here" from YouTube, which is just like, ugh. Which is why I didn't do it on there. But this looks like it's fully live. So thank you, Toad's Pilot, for pointing that out. We shall use YouTube. The YouTubers. We might even be able to put it into super high def. What can we put it into? 1080p. There we go. 1080p is the max. Let's go, baby. That's still streaming, right? Yeah. Pause. New Tyrannid on Reddit. Maybe Warriors. Yippee. That'll be the kill team. Maybe it'll be Tyranids versus Sons of Morkai actually getting their own unit for a change, rather than just an upgrade sprue included with a set of Reavers. That would be nice. Hey, love your vids. Currently working on your House Corvus vids for my Chaos Knights army. Any chance you will drop a Knight Tyrant soon? It's unlikely because I don't have one. I'm not saying no. We don't know when the Imperial Knights are coming out, or Chaos Knights, as it were. Whenever those codexes look like they might be appearing, we'll see what we're doing around then. And I'll try and get some stuff done for Imperial Knights when those codexes are on the way. But of course, we don't know what the new stuff is unless they're about to show us a new thing. We shall find out. We shall find out very soon. In 1 minute's time. In just 1 whole minute. That is a terrifying thing that happened. It is indeed, James. And it's not great as somebody over here reading, really, what some people think about us over here in Europe. It's lovely. It's really nice. Do you already know what's about to be shown? I don't know everything that's about to be shown. They have already put up a picture that shows a couple of things, or at least a little snapshot. But we can sort of see some of the stuff. But we're about to find out. So yeah, it's 2 a.m. And start. No? No start? What about you? Okay, so it's live on Twitch, but not on YouTube.
I'm incredibly excited. We've got stuff from Warhammer 40,000, Warhammer the Age of Sigmar, Kill Team, and the Old World.
Oh, it's going to be great. That's all coming up very soon. Now, this weekend we are celebrating it, of course, as ADEPTICON over there in America.
Let's hang out over here on Twitch then.
There at the event. Hello. You may have already seen some of the stuff we're about to show you already, but keep quiet for now. Great to have you here.
Can you guys hear it okay?
Folks all around the world,
over
please
me,
let us know in
under
the
me.
chat where you are. And in fact, this evening we're helped out because we are live. You can ask us questions. We have Ed
I'm
over in the
live
question
too.
corner. Ed, how are you doing? All right?
Good, thanks, Nick. Yeah,
Good to have you here, man.
That was a man not expecting to be on the camera at that point.
Question right at the beginning, and it will help me filter out to try and see what everyone wants to ask.
Now, crucially, that is in the Twitch chat only. I know we're on YouTube as well, but if you're in Twitch, please put your questions in there. We'll try to get as many of those answers as we possibly can as the show goes on.
I'm live too. They're live at the same time.
To show you this evening.
They have an audience of thousands. I have a lovely audience. Oh, wait, here we go. They're 14,681 viewers. 40k, Age of Sigmar, Kill Team. Warhammer the Old World. Let's go. Death Guard. Getting more than one thing? Aussie up bonus. Oh, hello.
That was
Okay, so
very
that's
exciting.
the...
Lots of cool stuff there.
You've seen us. You've seen this.
That's
sizzle
the
reel.
TikTok
It's now time
intro.
to jump straight into the old world with the Wood Elf realms.
Here we go.
Wood Elves, I
Wood Elves,
guessed
the
one.
Defenders of Athel Loren is a highly elite.
Some of my
force, lots
favourite
cavalry,
miniatures
lots
of
of
all
archers.
times.
You get a fantastic battalion, as well as their arcane journal, which contains all the lore background, regiments. We've got Orion in there. Loads of fantastic.
That's very cool.
stuff.
Yeah, absolutely elite army on the tabletop. These guys are superb at shooting you off the table.
Love it.
Yeah, and Alex is absolutely right. What he says there. We've also got the hero here, the Araloth Lord of Telson as well, who's coming alongside the Wood Elves. This guy was a coward in his youth, right?
Yes, he was
Again,
a cowardly
another
youth,
one of,
however, having fallen from his horse and
another one of my
killed the
favourites.
goddess, as you do.
I
He
do
then
love the Wood
regained
Elves.
his courage and eventually went on to slay Morga the Corruptor.
A superb Lord level hero.
Very,
for
very
Wood
cool
Elf
model.
forces. This guy
Where's my
carries his
favourite
burden to
favourite,
battle. Scaran the Eye Thief. There can be sent across the battlefield to peck the eyes out of your enemies, which is great fun. And of course, alongside the Arcane
they're still talking
Journal,
about the same
which is
miniature.
canon for the Wood Elves,
Arcane
just
Journal?
like it does for every other army. 48
Any
pages
bingo cards on
dedicated to
hand?
the Wood
No,
Elves with
only my,
background, rules, historical
only my
recreations.
mind.
You can fight in there.
I've got one.
New
I'm
heroes.
1-0.
We got Orion, King of the Woods, returns, leading his wild hunt
Yeah,
on the
there we
Armies
go,
of
that's a
Infamy
classic.
there, as well as magic items, new units which you can take as well, conversions from other units that exist.
Might be just me,
I tell you
but
what, I'm super
Warhammer
excited about
guys
the fact that
sound
beast
quiet.
packs are returning to the Wood Elf realms. You'll be able to field units of
I can
deep
turn them up
hounds,
a little
forest
bit.
cats, sylvan boars, and even a bear of Lauren. So you can have a bear running around.
I am
in Wood Elf
talking
realm.
over
That
them
sounds
though,
great.
remember? Because I don't
So
want
there
to
we
get
are.
immediately
So,
copyright struck.
Wood Elves aren't the
Not
only
copyright
things that
struck.
are
Of
coming
course.
to the
Just,
old
you know, I'd
world.
like to make it
We've
through
got
one of
the
these
Beastmen
where I don't have
Brotherhoods
to revenue
returning.
share.
So likewise, they've got a
Beast of
fantastic
Chaos. Would you
battalion
look at
there,
that?
stuffed full of everything you could think of that's a gore or a gorgon.
Absolutely right. Yeah, the Beastmen, of course, a wild force.
I
in
wonder if
Warhammer
the
Old
Beast
World.
Lords that I painted
Super
for
powerful,
Age of
lots
Sigmar will be in
cheap
this
infantry
range.
running around all over the table.
I
And
wonder.
some terrifying monsters as well. And
So
there's a brand new
weird that
miniature
model
coming for
came
them as
out.
well. We've seen this one before. This is Kralmor,
Yeah,
Prophet
we've
of
already seen
Ruin.
that.
Tell me about this guy. Who is
So
he?
the Beastmen love might.
This was
rock.
first previewed at the
However,
last preview
if you
show.
are mystical, magical.
They
You
are
tend to be
very
given
quiet.
A bit of an easy ride.
Do you want me to
They
turn them
love
up
that.
even more?
Kralmor is a prophet. He
I can turn them up even
see the
more if you
future,
prefer.
which has allowed him to stay one step ahead of his enemies. And we mentioned
How's
Orion
that?
before. Orion is currently hunting him, however, has been unsuccessful.
He's a powerful level 4 wizard, and that leering
Is that okay?
spirit that he accompanies into battle can be placed on the battlefield to cast
No, their mics are
devolving
just
magic
crap.
at enemies
Fair.
from afar, which is quite good fun. Now, it's worth pointing out both the Wood Elves and the Beastmen are going to have the huge ranges accompanying them. We've just shown you a selection here, so don't expect just
huge
this. There's
range of
loads more
miniatures.
coming as
Don't
well.
worry,
And
we'll
of
have
course,
all
we've
of
got
the
the Arcane
articles to
Journal
look at
for the Beastmen
afterwards.
Brayherds.
So we'll look
Again,
at those as
big
well.
book full
We'll see
of
the entire
lore,
range of things.
full of great maps. You like a map, Alex? You really
Well,
do.
that just
We've got
concludes all
historical
the stuff that
recreations
was
of
waiting
Cornwall
to
taking
come
on
out
some
for
Empire
Old
of Men
World.
Troopers. New
So
units,
maybe we're about to
new,
see
heroes in
something
there,
new
new
for
magic.
the Old
You can take a
World.
herd stone for your force as well. Look, if you're a Beastman fan, you want to get this book. That's great. Now, Alex,
Yeah.
people kind of knew that Wood Elves and Beastmen were on the way
Oh,
because
yes.
they were the last two forces that were going to happen.
I'm
but there's one
prescient.
force that people might not be expecting, right?
Oh,
Let's take a look.
Here comes Cathay.
Grand Cathay is
Hey,
among the oldest
Ionis, Ionis.
civilizations in the world.
Sorry, is this Dune?
Under the watch of my father, Sen Yang, the Celestial Dragon Emperor, Grand Cathay stands as a bulwark of harmony against the forces of darkness. Now, as the hordes of chaos threaten to breach our sacred battlements, this haven of order prepares for war. Upon
This is
the
dope.
walls of the Great Bastion are mustered countless soldiers, ingenious war machines, and other more esoteric
Kingdoms.
defenders who stand ready, determined to hold back the
This is a
tide.
preview for Warhammer Cafe. Very good.
Resolutely, I perform the duty bestowed on me by my divine father centuries ago. Through devout study of the twin powers of yin and yang, I master the elements and summon lightning from the heavens, striking our foes and inspiring all those who fight beneath my banner. I am the master of the storm winds and the supreme matriarch of Nangao. I am Mei Ying. I am the storm dragon. This is Grand Cathay, our eternal empire.
This is very exciting, everybody. Oh! Oh! Oh, my goodness me. That's everything you want
is
from Old
amazing.
World.
I have
Wow.
genuine goosebumps
Wow.
after watching it.
What a video. What a range.
Wow.
Let's talk about it. So, Grand Cathay is here, marching into the Old
There
World.
we go.
Alex,
Okay.
who are the Grand Cathay?
So Grand Cathay is one of the oldest civilizations in the world of legend. It's sort
Beautiful.
of an eternal bulwark against the evils of the
Beautiful.
world. It's a land of cities, farms, great mountains, and it's had a sort of
All of it.
internal
Stunning.
stability and harmony. The other nations
Okay.
tend to be in a level of
I'm
turmoil
here.
because it's ruled by dragons,
What?
namely the celestial
I am
dragon
here.
emperor himself.
And I'm ready.
And,
My
as
body
you
is
can imagine,
ready.
Having an immortal leader lends a bit of stability there.
That's such a what a great
Games Workshop,
sort of idea and
hi.
concept for a force, and it's a very different army to anything else you might see
This is
in the Old World.
exactly what Old
They
World
are
is
an
needed.
elite army, heavily armed and heavily armoured. Even the basic troops are super elite. There's a mixture of troops, cavalry,
100%
war engines,
everything they've needed.
terrifying monsters. And we're going to go through a few of them now because
yes.
the battalion box set, which we see
Oh.
here, is what a great scope of miniatures we've got in front of us. And first and foremost, let's talk about the infantry. Alex, the Jade Warriors, who are they?
So the Jade Warriors are the well-equipped sort of
10 out of
core
10.
of a city's army. So they're known as the Jade Warriors because that stone is sort of sacred to the Dragon Emperor, and it's said to
Perfect.
represent sort of the implacable nature of the Empire. They have pole arms, heavy
They're just
armor, shields.
fantastic.
They're formidable in the attack, but defense is where their strength truly lies.
Why are they not in
You're
AOS?
absolutely right. That's reflected
They
in the rules
died.
as well. These guys have their all defensive
Everybody
stance where if
died
they
in
remain
Age of
stationary,
Sigmar.
they can re-roll ones in the combat phase on their saves, which is cool. Really cool thing to point out in this box set as well is that
Good
while you
evening,
can
Sir
build
Strumming
every
Fish.
single model with lots of different variation, one of the great varieties in the Jade
Why are they
Warriors
not
that
in
is
AOS?
every model you can choose a male or a female
Well, if
as
only,
well.
eh?
So you have all your Jade Warriors can be female or male, up to
They
you.
now
which is
make the
really,
rest
really
of the
cool.
90s minis look
But
crap.
they're not
Yes,
just the only
they
thing.
do.
We've got maybe the anvil of the army is the Jade Warriors, but let's talk about the
that's
Jade
another
Lancers,
Ionis ad.
the cavalry. These guys are special.
So yeah, if the Jade Warriors are the shield, these guys are the spear. They're the Knights of the Celestial Host. They've been forged
There's
in
a
battle
lot of
and
AOS
fought the most
elements in
disciplined
these, to
and
be
skilled
fair.
soldiers of the great cities.
I mean, yes,
I mean,
they're
the
going to
wealthier
put the
cities
rest
can
of
raise, multiple regiments
the
of
old
these guys,
world
but
range
most
to shame, other than the other
manage
new
at least
stuff.
one.
Like
On a
Illyrian
battlefield,
Reavers, they look
basically,
really good.
They are able to
but like,
charge
it's
and
going to put the rest of
annihilate
it
the
to
enemy.
shame.
They specialise in sort
The
of
world is
getting
going to be
through the
flooded
narrow
with Cathay
passages and
armies.
alleyways of the cities to counterattack.
They're absolutely
New
devastating.
Cities of
cavalry
Sigmar
on the
proxies just
charge.
dropped. I
These
mean,
guys
yeah,
can fight in
exactly.
an extra
Could
rank
use
with
them
their
as Cities of
Cathayan
Sigmar
Lancers,
models.
so that makes them super hitty.
If the scale
And also
is right.
The Cathayan Cataphracts rule lets this unit follow up from combat and counters charging next
These
turn.
guys
So
look
this one is a
amazing. They
straight
really
through
do.
units and into the next one.
They
They
really
are
do.
absolutely devastating. But if you don't want to get too close to your opponent like the Jade Lancers do, maybe you want to fancy
James,
taking some
yeah.
of these artillery
Right.
pieces as well. Check these out, man. What we got?
So all
How
along
long
the
until
Great
next
Bastion,
beard's
you've got
complain about
rocket launchers
Cathay
and
being
cannons of
AOSified?
all sizes.
Probably
The
already
rocket
happening right now.
launchers, The Fire Rain rocket battery might be a little bit inaccurate, but they're
If I open the
incredibly
chat
good at
right
launching
now,
explosives
which
great
I won't
distances.
do, but if I was
So
to
this,
open the Twitch chat, you would
Fire
see
Rain
it.
rocket battery is a portable version of
They
the
look
one
too
which is
new.
crewed by
I
disciples
don't
of the
want
House of
new
Smoke and
things.
Powder, who specialise in the manufacturing of gunpowder. You'll notice gunpowder features very heavily with Grand Cathay.
Actually, to
So
be fair,
many
the chat is
cannons
mostly
also
going to be
exist,
people just
but
asking
the,
for
foremost
new
is
Custodes
the
miniatures
famous
when,
Great Cannon.
for
Many of these
example.
are forged in Nangao, and they've got that wonderful dragon
Oh.
head shaped on the front. And one of my
I
favourite
love
things
this.
about this kit is that ogre loader.
It's just a great characterful piece, isn't it? It's actually an upgrade
it's
for the
exactly what Old
kit,
World
for the
needed.
artillery piece in terms
Exactly
of
the
rules.
right time.
He helps protect your artillery piece with gunpowder bombs. He
well
can
done,
help
Games
the
Workshop.
cannon move faster by lugging it along, and also it can allow
Help
it to
improve
shoot twice
Twitch.
once per game in one phase, which is
that would
pretty
be
impressive. And the loads are super
negative
fast.
there, go
The
Herder.
Grand Cannon you see here does such devastating damage, has thunderous impact on its shots, slowing down enemy units nearby where the shot landed. And the fire-rain rocket battery can choose a multiple different types of ammunition, depending on whether it's going for big targets or for big units. It can do what it wants. My favourite detail, Harris, I've got to point out in this picture. Check out the guy at the back with the sort of bamboo rocket who's smoking a pipe right next to the rocket.
That's brave.
What a hero! What a hero!
I don't mind what's in a big cannon
Love
like
this
that.
stuff.
Well,
but that's the
because you're not
models
allowed.
you see in the battalion. We've also got some other stuff as well. This is the Sky Lantern. Tell me about these.
Yes, so this is a beautiful
These?
centerpiece miniature. It's an intricately decorated construction of paper
That right
and
there.
silk and held aloft by a caged vermilion warbird, which basically has burning wings and forces all the
How
hot
big
air
is
up
it?
into it to give it lift.
Imagine
The crew
transporting
then
this
sit in an
thing.
armoured gondola
Yes.
and they're able to direct it using those sails on the side. It's a wonderful Cathay
Transporting is for
the Dahlia on one side and Grand Cathay on the other.
not for the
Our
faint
team
of
is
heart.
The best engineers. Now you can see in that gondola you've got a Lord Magistrate or Strategist, and these are the commanders of cities and the institutions.
much
of Grand
detail.
Cathay. And they tend to
There's not
lead from
that
the
much
back,
detail on
and they
that,
can
to be
guide
fair.
from the Sky Lantern using
There's
fans
a
and
very
bands.
big balloon.
This is great. The magistrate
That
you
is
see
gonna
there
be a
is
nightmare to
hero
build.
choice for the
Guarantee
force, and
you.
you can choose
Guarantee
to
you
mount
that
him in
will
a
be
Sky
a
Lantern if you want to.
pain
He can be on foot if you want
to
to as
put
well,
together.
or you can take your Sky Lantern without one of those inside if you want to as well. It's a
Insane
huge,
OSL
rare,
paint
heavy
jobs
chariot
on the
basically on a new
lanterns.
base
Oh,
size,
yeah.
which is quite
People are
cool.
gonna paint that as
And
see-through,
you can
100%.
equip the gunners on board with an array of gunpowder weapons and bombs, including the actual
Contrast plus
lantern
video of this
itself
when.
has those huge Sky
See,
Lantern bombs.
even in
underneath
my
it, which
chat.
are absolutely devastating. One of my favourite rules about this thing is the Eye of the Dragon rule, which lets Cathayan artillery use this model's
How
line
is
of
it being
sight, so
held
the
up
crew on
with
board is
wishful
directing
thinking
the
and bad
artillery
language?
fire for the rest of the force, which is fantastic. So
Just one thing I want to note on this as well is the transfers.
Yes.
You'll have seen on all the banners these wonderful intricate
Yep,
symbols.
that's definitely
and
not
as well there on
freehand.
the Sky Lantern. Those are all transfers.
absolutely good. You don't have to be a level 4 brush sorcerer to complete that. So there we go.
very
Fantastic
cool.
news for the Cathayan players. And that's
I
not
also
the
have
only
a feeling
centerpiece
I
model
know
we've
how I
got.
would
Of
paint
course,
that.
up next we've got the Cathayan Sentinels.
Oh,
This is just look at the size of this thing, Alex. Tell me
Yeah,
more.
These are great
I
animated
want to know the
statues.
scale of that
Look
because
at
I
this,
think
it's
Sons of
brilliant.
Bahamut fans are
All
going to
built by
really
the
enjoy
Dragon Emperor
that.
himself many thousands of years ago to combat chaos. Now, the terracotta sentinels are crafted from magically charged red earth, and they tend to be found along the Great Bastion itself. However, sentinels can be found across Grand Cathay, anywhere. They're made of various stones, so like granite sentinels watch over Sky Pass in the mountains of
they're just
Morn,
wicked.
obsidian sentinels defend
again,
the border
what's the
against the
scale?
blood nagas of Koresh, and warpstone sentinels
I can't
formed from
imagine that
clay
they're
infused with
mega
warpstone
gargan-sized.
dust, sort of watch over the
Although they
desert
do
roads
look
in
it,
the
to be
Warpstone
fair.
Desert.
I tell you what's really cool as well, depending on which one you go for and how you paint your miniature, they actually get different rules in the game as well. So the terracotta
Brilliant.
sentinel can regenerate, while the granite sentinel might have a better armor save, and the warpstone
Some sexy
sentinel
terrain slash
is going
statues right
to
there.
sort
Yeah,
of
yeah,
really
yeah. No, they would
badly,
make great terrain.
affects the nearby enemy troops, depleting their toughness, which is really horrible.
Looks like
These
a
things
mega
are
gargan to me.
huge,
It does.
rare behemoths, and they are just great fun. And you definitely want to have one in your force. But let's have a look at another centerpiece model here.
it'll be
the
so
Gungan Lord
easy
on
to
the Great
paint as well.
Longmar.
Just got to get
these
that
guys
base
tend to be
colour
the
right.
descendants of the Celestial Dragon, or Dragon-blooded. They're natural sorcerers. They're just as skilled at wielding the elemental
very
winds
pretty.
as they are with a blade. They're gifted with weapons and armor from the forges of Wei Jin, and they
Plastic
fight for
or
the
resin?
front. These guys are no
I think that's
slouches in
plastic.
combat.
Absolutely not, and they're basically warrior wizards. So these models
There's no
can either be a
reason
hero
for any
or a
of
lord
Cathay
choice,
to be
and
resin.
depending on which one you go for. It could be a level 1 wizard or a level 2 wizard, and those can all be increased. So you could have a level 4 Shigengan Lord if you
very,
wanted
very
to,
pretty.
all flying around this
Oh, I want to
beautifully
paint it so bad.
sculpted Longmar flying beast. Just a wonderful sort of both warrior and wizard.
These make the other
able to
World
lead your
War
force,
dragons look
and
like
stunning
ass.
centerpiece model too.
Certainly they
but
do.
Other choices for your heroes include the Gate Masters of the Celestial Cities.
So these are the leaders of the Chain
Brilliant.
Warriors. They've earned their
Perfect.
position through skill and experience.
Look, this isn't
and
helping
they've
me right
served
now
for
because
at
I
least
just
a
played
decade,
Dynasty
and
Warriors
they're the masters of
Origins.
defensive warfare and discipline.
Absolutely right. They're battle-hardened veteran leaders for
I
your
really
forces.
enjoyed it.
Again, they could be heroes or or lords. You get 2 in the box, enough to make a fighters. If you want to,
So
all
I'm
of it
like,
to make a battle standard
yeah.
bearer, and you can thank the Dragon Emperor for the fact that that is a transfer there, so you don't have to hand paint that yourself.
These names
these
are
guys
so
are wonderful
good.
leaders to have in your force.
Yeah, no,
to
they
direct
are.
your
They're
models in
fantastic.
play. Now, of
It's going to
course,
be a nightmare for me to
alongside this, we
pronounce
are
them.
going to
I might
see
have to.
the
I
Grand
have to find
Cathay
somebody to
Arcane
give me
Journal
a
as well.
give me a
Indeed,
list
so
of how
this has
things
got
are
the
actually meant to
history
be
of Grand Cathay, the
pronounced.
Celestial Dragon Emperor, including lots also little bits of information that you might not know, such as that it was the Dragon Emperor who shared gunpowder with the Sky Titans and a long and storied friendship with Nehekara until events that
Now
we
we
will not
have
mention.
one
It's got the
modern-looking army
philosophy of
versus
Grand
lots of old
Cathay, the
90s
armies,
armies.
the formation
Correct,
of the
Jim
Great
Langham.
Western Desert, the trade, exploration. There's a
But-
bit of a focus on the armies of Nangao here. And it was that's the
This
anchor
happening
at the western
indicates
end
that
of the
Old
Great
World has
Bastion.
been a success.
It's also
that
got
it's
a lot
made
on
them a
Feng
lot
Shi
of money,
sorcery,
which
sees
means that
the
they've
winds of magic
invested the
split
time to
into
do
two,
this.
yin
This
and
wouldn't be
yang.
happening
Yang
if
may just
Old
stood in
World
control
hadn't
of the
been a
winds of magic,
success.
producing bright and
Or this would
vibrant
be quite
spells,
far
whilst
out.
yin is darker
So
and
the
more
fact that
dangerous.
this is
Opening
happening
magic
means
rules
it
which
has
you can
done
take
well.
for your wizards
So it
inside
does
the,
give
the
hope
Arcane
that the
Journal as
rest
well.
of those
This Arcane Journal
ranges,
is a bit
like
unusual.
Soul
It's
Blight
not
Grave
maybe
Lords
like
and
the
all
other
that
Arcane
kind of thing.
Journals we've seen,
Not
as it's
Soul
more of
Blight
a
Grave
sort of
Lords.
standard
Like,
army list. So much like you
Tomb
see in
Kings
the
and
Forces of
that
Fantasy or
can
the
get
Ravening Hordes
further
books. But every single model that's
reinvestment.
coming alongside will have their full rules in here,
Or
full
it's been
special
a
rules for
failure
the
and they
army,
need to get their money
neat
back with this.
weapons,
No,
magic
I
items,
don't
everything
think
you need
so,
to
Dan.
field your Grand
Because
Cathay army in a
it's
game of
almost
Warhammer the
always
Old World
all out of
is
stock.
in this book. So if you
That's
want to
the
collect an
other
army,
part of the-
you need to
you
get
know,
yourself
the
a copy
evidence,
of
as
this
it were.
book as well. But that's not the only thing. We've got one more thing to show you from this army. Take a look at this. So is this.
This is Mei Ying, the commander of the armies of the Great Bastion, ruler of northern Cathay from her seat of power in Nangao. So for centuries she's fought against the servants of the dark gods, hobgoblins, barbarians, you name it. She was assigned to her position by the Celestial Dragon himself, and is often considered the favourite amongst her siblings due to the power she wields.
That just hit me
and
right in the-
bears. And
right in
she's
the heart.
somewhat aware of it. She's forever dealing with the lords of Nangao because
Someone
even
call
when
me an
you are
ambulance.
a dragon,
You're an ambulance.
politics and scheming never escape.
Now, I'm right in thinking Mei Ying's form is as a dragon, and
Yes.
sometimes she can transform herself into the human form to I guess, less terrify her creatures as well. What's important as well, I mean, look at that beautiful
Perfection.
miniature, isn't it? I think it's important to say as well, that model we've just seen, the dragon, Mei
Also
Ying here,
perfection.
and all the models we've seen in this entire range are all plastic,
Indeed.
which is fantastic news. So
hear
it's
that?
gonna be much easier
All
to
plastic.
make your miniatures. Mei Ying is a powerful wizard. She can transform
That
herself
looks
from a
like
dragon to a
freehand.
human
Boom.
whenever she wants to. And she's a supreme matriarch of the Nangao, and so she can promote warriors around her to be her celestial dragon guard. Making
If
them
I
better
buy
to
that
fight
for
as
you,
well.
will it
Just
speed
a
up my
stunning
Alfie?
centerpiece
Your
model for
Alfie
army.
is in the wash.
That whole collection is just incredible.
I will be scrubbing it
Intricacy,
tomorrow.
the
After I've
detail.
edited tomorrow's video,
Beautiful.
which will
Yeah,
be
there we go.
gormongers.
That is Grand Cathay coming soon for Warhammer the Old
But if
World.
you wish to
A very
support the
exciting
channel, you
release.
can, by all means.
And yeah, you guys weren't sure if we're going to show you everything. We just have. So there we go. Exciting stuff. We've got a bit of time now
Oh,
to
I've
go
got-
over
my
to question
face is
corner.
gonna
Ed,
hurt from
what's the
smiling
chat
after
talking
that.
about at the moment?
Perfect.
Well, first off, I would like to shout out a few of the locations people talked about earlier. We've got people from all over the UK, loads of states being listed across the US and Canada.
Do you want to hear the
Paris,
answers to
Australia,
questions?
Norway, all over the world. It's fantastic.
I'm not
do
sure
have
I
some
do.
old world related questions that I've got to though. How much of the release is in resin? Is a big one that we're being asked.
Well, everything we've just seen is plastic.
Yep.
There we go.
It's all plastic.
That's it. If there's other models coming in the future that we haven't seen, we don't know about at the moment. We don't know. But everything we've just seen is
Can I
entirely
use that
plastic.
dragon in my
Multi-part
every
miniatures,
SPG
loads of
warrior
different
army?
different
You could do
miniatures. So
whatever you want,
there we
like
go.
Sir Strumming
I'll call
Fish.
that
I would
right.
wholeheartedly
That's pretty
endorse
cool.
it.
Next up, are those terracotta models the biggest models in Old World?
That's a good question.
I don't know.
They might
They
be.
might be.
The Sky Lantern is huge.
Yeah, the Sky Lantern stands really tall.
Because
That
it's on,
ties
it's on
in
a
like
brand
them
new
looking
base as
down
well.
the barrel
and
of the
then on a
camera.
flying stand, and then that balloon on top of it. So at least height.
Don't like
I think
it.
the Sky Lantern
It's like
takes
me doing it,
Well,
going
you
like
just
this.
answered my next question, which was, is the Sky Lantern attached to its base purely from the plastic parts? No, it's got the flying stand. Okay, final question.
It's
then.
uncomfortable,
Who
isn't
are
it?
Cathay's biggest rivals in the Old World?
Ooh, they don't have a rival.
You know,
Arguably, they're
He's doing
amongst
it
the
again. It's
oldest and
making
most
me
powerful
uncomfortable.
kingdoms in the Old World.
but they particularly hate.
Talk to
forces
each
of
other.
chaos,
Oh,
right?
they absolutely loathe chaos.
Okay. So if you wanted to have if there was a rival, if there was someone that stood up anywhere near to the forces of the Cathay, it would be the Warriors of Chaos.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. All right, cool. Anything else, Ed? Any more in the chat for now?
Lots
You
of
said you
questions
could
I
break
think
eye
might get
contact
answered
more.
later on
Sorry.
as we go on it.
Fair enough. In that case, we'll move on to the next segment of our show, and it's time to move on from the old world and take a look at what's going on in Kilting.
I need to watch this now. Sorry. Focus trembles under high tectonics. Here we go. New season, maybe. Tyrannic War veterans, probably not, but they would like it. Archaeotechnicon. Okay, fine. one eye on the screen, one eye on us. I can't do that. I can do 2 eyes in the same spot, though. Jump scare.
Here we go. Kill Team Typhon is the next release coming for Kill Team. And it's extremely exciting. We have got a big box here full of loads of miniatures and the much asked for, much waited for Tyranid specific kill team is here in the form of the Raveners. First of all, before we go any further, very quickly, Alex, where is Typhon set and who are the
bastards?
So we are still on Volcus, we're in High Basilicus, the Grey Gun has fired, and when it does fire, the backdraft sort of levels everything around it. One of the things that sometimes happens is that sinkholes open up. And when they do, that allows access below the Great Gun.
Someone's having fun with the smoke machine on that.
Adeptus Mechanicus send out these teams of sacrificial servitors to go and find some of the archaeological bits that are hidden down there.
Sick.
When they've done so, they've awoken some Raveners.
Oh dear, you don't want to wake Raveners. That's the worst thing to do.
That's
Because in this box we have the new Raveners kill team. 5 miniatures in the Ravenous kill team. You'll also notice there are some Hormigants in the background here too, but we'll talk about the Hormigants in just a second. But the Ravenous kill team is 5 models, and you can make quite different versions here.
Imagine tuning into a stream of your favourite painter just for unbelievably intense eye contact. Sorry, scary
other things we're going to go over in a second. Alex, Ravenous are powerful.
Thank you very much for the $5.
Indeed,
It's very
powerful,
kind of you.
live, driven by an all-consuming hunger. Reports say that sometimes they can be deposited on a planet, they burrow through rockcrete, armour, flesh, all with the same level of ease, and they can basically hide out for years, if not decades. And that seems to be what's happened here on
Thank
Volcus.
you so much for
As you
10
mentioned,
gifted
they've
Warhipster
been built into
memberships.
several different sub-varieties. So you've got the Prime, who's a noble
so
hub for
kind
the
of you.
brood,
Thank
and
you so
coordinates
much.
the rest of them. The Feltalon, with claws that pump toxins that can then be tracked.
You have to
The
come back
Venom
and
Spitter
watch
that,
this because
as
work
you
is
can probably
being a
guess,
pest and
spits
actually
venom.
requires me to do
Makes sense,
The
stuff.
Wrecker, which is a heavily muscled armoured version, which can
I'm
break
sorry.
through into bunkers. My favourite, the Tremor. It's got a hypersensory array to detect vibrations and chemical
I've
signatures.
spoken before about
fear.
how
And as you
I
said,
don't like
the rest of the
Tyranids.
warriors.
Now, if you've
This
ever
is
played
why I
Space
like.
Marine 2,
These
you'll
are the
have come
things I
across
do
the
like
Raveners
about
in there,
Tyranids.
and they
When
burrow
it's
through
not
the
a
ground, and
recognisable
so difficult to deal with. And that
two-legged
comes through in
thing.
Kill Team as well. They actually have a rule where
Those
you
are-
draw a tunnel as the
those are
game continues,
gorgeous.
and your warriors and your Raveners can just
The paint
pop
scheme's
in
beautiful
or
as
pop
well.
out
It's
of that
delightful
tunnel as
paint
the game
scheme, isn't it?
continues, really confusing your foes. If I tell Kill Team players these guys have an APL of 3 apiece, that makes them super good, and they can all fight twice in an activation, which is terrifying too.
Beautiful
absolutely
stuff.
monstrous foes. Only I think 5 models is one of the smallest kill teams, but they are tough.
Okay,
They
and
are
they're
real big and tough.
They look
Lots of
amazing.
wounds. Lots of APL, be terrified. Maybe not quite as terrifying, but pretty
Restream
cool as
bot
well.
has become a member.
The Battle Clade coming alongside them
gifted
in the box set. These are an
20
Adeptus Mechanicus
memberships.
kill team, and someone in the chat earlier on said, "I'd give my soul for an Adeptus Mechanicus kill team."
Like
We're
an
going to send
absolute
Slanesh
boss.
knocking on your door anytime soon. But Alex,
Restream bot,
tell
thank
us
you so
about
much.
tell us
You're
about
very,
these
very
guys.
generous.
So these are
very,
led by
very kind. Thank you
techno-archaeologists who
very
specialise in
much.
hunting down arcana and exotic resources. Alongside them, they've got the Servitor
appreciate that a
Runtus,
lot.
that
Thank
guy
you
that
very
seems to be
much.
floating there. Basically, these guys specialise in reprogramming and controlling servitors, translating
already
them
exists,
into
does it not?
complex subroutines suitable for their
No,
charges.
it must be. It's
But
new.
they can be a bit enthusiastic about the acquisition of more servitors. So if you do happen to have one of these guys float by,
That
careful
Adeptus
they don't steal
Mechanicus
them.
kill team is kind
So
of
alongside
boring.
them, you've got a whole host
I mean,
of
it's
various
AdMech,
servitors.
isn't
You
it?
can have
It's-
gun servitors with servo stabilizers, and even
Those are fairly-
medics, which is a rare
I mean, we've seen them
willingness to
before
heal
in
the
like
fleshy parts of
what's it
servitors,
called?
because
Blackstone
you are on
Fortress
a
and stuff
mission
like that.
far from the forge. You know,
Adam,
sometimes needs
with
must.
Needs
20
must, right?
gifted
Absolutely
Warhipster
right.
memberships
What's quite
as
cool
well.
on the tabletop, these
Thank
guys have a
you.
rule called the Noospheric Network, where they can transfer
Thank you
power
so
from one
much.
server
Hype
to another.
train.
One maybe shuts down and transferring as an APL over to another one, which is really good fun.
it, let's go, chat.
Different services have different rules.
Let's
We've got the
get it.
breacher servitors who can knock holes through walls, and the
Don't,
gun
'cause
service
we-
and combat
yeah, I
services
mean,
carry a
if you want
huge
to,
array
by all
of
means, do
exotic
gift.
weaponry, including a
Or
heavy
super chat
arc
or whatever
rifle,
you want to
incendiary
do.
igniters, and phosphor blasters, which all sound terrifying.
But I've not made any of
Great
these
fun.
miniatures.
Now, coming alongside those two kill teams in the box is the dossier, of course, which is
Thank
where
you
you would
guys.
find the
Thank
full
you so
rules
much.
for
I
both the kill
appreciate you
teams.
so
But
very
also
much.
has really loads of extra stuff in there as well. You see all the tokens and things, the cards that come in the box. Inside the dossier, you'll find the Joint Ops and Adversary Ops mission packs in here as well. The Joint Ops is really good fun. That's where the Hormigants and the Rippers that you get in the box that come into play as well, because there is a tree campaign for playing through the narrative of the Tyranid
Oh,
invasion
it's
on
like
High Basilicus.
Ashes of
And the
Faith.
Hormigants are your NPO, non-player operatives that you get in there with full data cards and rules for
Interesting.
using those to to fight against with your friends, which is quite good fun. But also in the box, people have noticed, we showed off on Warhammer Community a little while ago,
bunch of
the
terrain.
Tyranid Infestation Terrain Kill Zone upgrade. Tell me what we've got
I
here.
like
So you
it.
get spore chimneys, capillary towers, gestation sacks, shard spewer growths, underbrood mounds, capillary roots, spore vents, and brood nests. There's a lot. Chimneys and vents pump out spores, capillary towers act as
Heck of a lot of
conduits, so when a
stuff
high fleet
in
arrives,
one box by the looks
that's
of things.
where they're basically
We'll
gonna
have a look at the
get all
article.
biomatter up from. And gestation sacks,
The Nids can be painted as Leviathan
Yeah, it's
and be fine,
disgusting.
right?
It's
Nothing
such
is
great
exclusive to Fleet
terrain
Typhon.
and
Oh,
a
yeah,
really nice
absolutely.
way of really adding a lot of
Absolutely.
flavour to your kill zone. And in standard games, they
There you
provide
go.
light cover or heavy cover, as you might expect.
How
But
good
actually
would
in the
this have
joint
been
op
at the
missions,
beginning of
they're also
the
used as
edition with
objective markers for you
Leviathan?
to investigate or destroy, or spawn points for Tyranid reinforcements to come out
It's a
of.
little
which is
bit
terrifying
late.
as well. It's just a beautiful
But better
set of
late than
terrain,
never.
and it's really nice to see some sort of classic Tyranid terrain from yesteryear. Made
You're
into a
likely not
plastic
going to
set
see
for
me
your-
for
your
3
battlefield
months.
as well. Tyranid
I
players all over
suspect
the
you'll
place.
be
You wanna get your
battering down
claws
my
on
door on
things.
Discord before too
So
long.
there we go. That is Kill Team Typhon coming very soon. Got a little bit of time for some questions again from the chat. Ed, anything else we want to fire our way?
Well, obviously, the big one is for both kill teams, are we going to see rules for them in 40k?
So right now, of course, we do have rules for Raveners in the Tyranid Codex already, which you can use these models to represent. Are we going to see full rules for both kill teams in their entirety? Well, we're not sure yet, but keep your eyes on Warhammer Community, and there may well be more news coming on those soon.
The answer is yes.
Watch-
Everything
watch-
gets
watch
rules in
these.
40k because it has so far.
Anything else, Ed?
Yeah, we're getting a lot of questions about the Imperial Knights
This
Codex and Chaos Knights Codex.
is
Just keep
meatball
watching.
Ed.
Obviously,
That's
when we get to
true.
40k, we'll
It
cover
does.
those. Is this part
You're gonna
of a
paint them
heightened
Typhon, Josh? I don't know.
fantasy in the lore?
Depends on if they get sent to me.
ooh, so as I mentioned before, basically the Raveners
barrel
are deposited on a planet well ahead of the High Fleet and can stay there for years.
I keep
if not
checking. I'm
decades.
checking like the stream
So
health.
It
I'm looking
could
at
be a
chat, and then I
precursor
look
to an
back,
invasion,
and
but
one of
it
them
also
is
might
just.
have been, a little offshoot. So we don't yet know.
Fingers crossed it's not a full invasion there, right? For the sake of the Imperium.
Fingers crossed it is a full invasion.
You stay on your side, sir. Anything else, Ed, that we want to go over?
Yeah, final thing about just obviously we've not had Raveners for quite some time. In terms of build options, are we able to see?
I got a
full
question.
unit
Why
of
aren't the
all
candles
Raveners?
on?
Is there an ability to build
Oh, in the-
multiple of each one?
In the stream,
Basically what
in
we
their
do.
studio.
So basically, the kit you can build,
don't
you
know.
could build all 5 Raveners as a Ravener Warrior, which is the essentially the
Paint
Ravener
them
you
like they
can
were
see
frozen
in
instead.
sort of Ravener
What, as
Squad in
in?
Warhammer 40,000 game. There's also full rules for Ravener Warriors in Kill Team 2. So if you wanted to build 5 Ravener Warriors, you could use that as your kill team, no problems at all. As for the other options, you get the
Hand of the
methods to
Archon
build
has no
one
40k
of
rules.
So
Not
one
that I'm
Prime,
sour about that.
one
Is
Wrecker,
it not?
one.
Aren't they
I've
just
forgotten
Capelite
the names of
Warriors?
them.
Or
One of
what am I
each of the other
thinking
ones
of?
you can build there as well. So not multiples of those. All right.
I'm not
That's
sure.
everything for now.
Excellent.
I'm not a
In that case,
consumer
it's time to move on.
aficionado,
What's
despite
going on?
having done many
Indeed,
kill
we're
teams.
heading
I do have another
to the
kill
Mortal
team to do.
Realms.
There we go.
Fight action-packed battles in Shaiish, the realm of death, with the
Ooh,
new
another
Warhammer
edition of
Age
Spearhead.
Sigmar Spearhead gaming pack, Sand and Bone.
Sand and bone, fire and jade, pyre and flood.
Lead your forces to victory in fun, fast-paced games using
Yay!
streamlined rules. Each
New Spearhead terrain.
box
Awesome.
contains all the miniatures you need to take command of a
Sand
balanced
me,
and
but no.
thematic army, with rules and updates available to download for free online.
looks
Obliterate
like
your
a bunch of
foes
news.
from a distance. Impose a grisly tithe on them. Devour them whole through gluttony.
Oh, nice.
Or shred them with cold-blooded savagery. The choice is yours with 4 new Spearheads. March forth into the realm of
4 more
death
for me to
and
do.
Prepare for battle with Spearhead, Sand and Bone.
You can, however, bone sand.
Ooh, very exciting. So this is Spearhead Sand and Bone. This is basically the new expansion for Spearhead with a
Sand
whole
and
load of
Bone.
new and
It's the
exciting
folk cover
additions.
of
You
Rock
find
and Stone.
2 areas of the realm of death, double death.
You love this, don't you?
Yes, so you've got Ossia
Sand
and Valorum.
and
Basically, you've got 2 sides of that board. With a
It's
whole new
sand
set of
and
scenery. Now, I notice here we've got the
bone.
Necropolis, Blood, Delusion, Grief, and Night, the 5 Mortarks that we know of, and they basically reflect sites of ancient power.
Oh, I'm
Blood,
so
and
happy.
those
That's really
Mortarks.
cool. That wasn't
They're
on
not
my
set out
bingo
in the
card.
same way that we've seen before.
No, you're right. There's a nice little variation between the Fire and Jade, the
Nice.
previous games as well, to give you really good variation.
Who's
on your
upsanding
games,
the
depending on
bone?
Which realm
Wow.
you fight in. You'll also notice that on this board in front of us, the green one,
I
here,
think a lot
you've
of
got
people are
one
up
huge objective in the
sanding
middle, with
the
other
bone.
4 smaller
Sanding
ones
and
around it,
bone.
which makes that central one's super important and exciting to play over. And if you look on the top left of the purple board there, that one's only got 4 objectives on it, but 2 of them are super close in the centre of the board, so there's going to be a big old scrap there as well. Both boards
Isn't that
really
the old
sort
crypt terrain
want
from
you to
Warcry?
get into the action.
Oh, some of it might be.
Which is great fun. You also notice
know,
on the
actually.
screen as well, we've got some new terrain features here
so
as well. This
cool.
is the new mystical terrain that's being
That's
added
so
in,
cool.
which can either be
Anakin is triggered.
set up on the board at the start of the game,
I hate
or
sand
maybe brought
and
in
bone.
through one of the twists in the game as well. We've got the Crypt of Blood, where your fighters can take an unholy draft and try and best their
Draft
try and
and
best their
scores.
foes at
It
combat.
gets everywhere
but
on
at
my
what
Spearhead
cost?
table.
And the icon of New Lamia, which is the statue there, which you can sort of call upon the veiled promises of the icon, and maybe it'll help you, maybe it won't. Bit of a big risk there, but it's nice to see cool options in here as well as new
I now
updated,
can't read out all of
battle
chat. I
tactics
mean, to be honest.
and commands and twists and everything to really make you
Sand
feel
and
like you're
bone.
playing in the realm of
Sand
death.
and
So
bone.
it's a very different experience to Spearhead as it is right now. Great fun, and definitely one to get your hands on. But alongside,
I wanna
this
know
box,
how
we've also
many,
got some new Spearheads coming as well.
Are they nouns? How many
So
nouns
the first one
they've
we're going
got
to have a look
left
at
to
is
pair
the
up?
Ogre Moor Tribe Scrap Glut. Now, basically, you're going to have your
Nice.
hunter in the centre with a bunch of Noblars around, as well as those 8 Iron Guts. Now, they pack an absolute punch, don't they?
Those are
They
old
really
models,
do.
right?
They
Those
really
aren't new.
do. They're terrifying. Don't get anywhere near them. But yeah, a really
Sick.
hitty Spearhead, that one there. We've also got the
Spearhead
Seraphon
with
Sunblood
cheese and
Prowlers as
pickle.
well. For the Seraphon fans, who are these guys?
Indeed. So these basically have their hunters
That's
on
very
you.
cool.
They're able to scoot forward, and then you've got that big block of Saurus warriors, all led by that Sunblood pack.
We've also
Yeah,
got
terrifying
the
in combat. The
Jaws of
Hunters
Itzel.
actually definitely go for nipping around and
As
grabbing your battle tactics. But if you
Are
don't
those
fancy being
underworld
quite so
warbands
mobile,
escaping legends?
you could
It looks
instead
like
go
here.
for Cities of Sigmar Fusel Platoon and just shoot people off the table with all your guns
See,
and
that one I
crossbows.
already have.
They're
I
a
just need to
mobile
finish
gunnery
the
brigade,
Fusiliers.
basically with 2 elements. You've got the Wilder Corps that move
So
up
maybe
the
we
board,
will finally
and then
make
you've got
the
those 2
Fusiliers video.
units of Freehill Fusiliers that basically form an impenetrable line of pervases.
They're even better. They get better on their saves if they remain stationary. But of course, you won't score many battle tactics by doing that. But I tell you what, if you want to go for a smaller, more elite
We've done the
force,
Hunters,
take a
we've
look
done
at the
the
Ossiarch
Alchemite.
Bone Reapers Mortisan Elite. It's
Haven't
just
done
9
any
models,
of
but
the,
what 9 models they are.
Oh yeah, when we talk about sort of
Other
the
than
Ossiarch,
Mortisan
we're
Oss Effector,
talking about
actually, from
rank
that. So I'm
after
already,
rank of
we're
amenable
already off
troops.
to a start
Mortisans
with
of
that
the
one.
Oss Effectors will assemble these kind of cohorts when they want to improve their bone-shaping skills in battle. And as you said, it's a highly elite force.
Yeah, there's not a model there that hasn't got
Yeah,
at
I
least
mean,
health
that's-
4, and most of them have a 3+ save as well. So these guys are
I mean,
tough.
it's
Not
cost
many of
effective,
them,
that
so
one.
good luck trying to score
It's
your
pretty
battle
good.
tactics,
I imagine it's a
with
pretty
those
good
guys,
deal.
'cause
It
you're gonna
doesn't
have to
look
really
like
think
it,
about
but
how
it
you
is
do
pretty good.
As a tactician might have to with the Ossiarch Bone Reapers.
Yes. Now, that's not all there is for the Age of Sigmar. We've got the Scourge of Gairan. Now, this is an exciting new seasonal event building up to the launch of the General's Handbook in summer. Now, on the run-up to
Yay.
that release, there's going to be daily articles on Warhammer Community with short stories in video form, along with new rules updates. These could be Regiments of Renown, battle formations, enhancement, but every faction is getting at least one updated War Scroll card for an existing unit.
That's right, and they're going to be match play legal
Strange,
from the
but
release
okay.
of the new General's Handbook, which is going to be the climax of the Scourge of Gairan season. We see that new General's Handbook arrive. It's that time of year. Here it is, and the difference here with the General's Handbook this time round is rather than just being a book, it's actually a complete box inside which is your 72-page book. You've got your
Age of
battle
Sigmar,
plan and
just
battle
doing it
tactics
right, as
cards.
always.
There's manifestation and War Scroll cards as well. We've
long
got
as that's
the,
like
6 objective markers in there, so it's a complete
that's the
product
baseline.
for the Warhammer
Because
Age of
I've
Sigmar
bought
General, which
in
you
the
wanna
past.
get your
I've bought
hands on.
limited
Tell me where
editions
we are for this season.
So this is War
of
with a J.
the Give
Gairan
General's
is sometimes
Handbook,
considered sort of
and
places
it's
of
been like, oh
abundance
yeah,
with
cool, I've got a bunch of
Hammer,
objective
Red
markers and
Basket of
stuff,
Sigmar's
and
domain.
then it's been
However,
like,
the
oh yeah,
realm of
no,
life
these are
is
only valid
rife
for a
with
year.
disease, hellish mires, mercurial forest spirits, monstrous insects, rapidly changing seasons. Nowhere is safe.
That sounds awful. Sounds like a
That is
perfect
a
place
sick
to have
design
your
for
battles of
City of
Warhammer Age of
Sigmar,
Sigmar.
dude.
Now, in
It
terms
is.
of how the
I've
rules
actually
are going
got
to change
Marshall
for this
Ashfield
season,
as
well,
well
we're
to
not
do.
going to tell you too much right now.
Fun to
In
return
fact,
to
we're going
the
to ask you
Cities
to
of
go
Sigmar
back
for
to
a
the
while.
Warhammer Community website in the future.
It's
There'll
past
be
the
some
watershed,
hints
you
here
can
and there
read chat.
and some
Good
build
point,
up
it is
Scourge
post
of
9
Gairan to find out what's in the
9
General's
PM.
Handbook.
It's
Keep your eyes on the
2:35.
Warhammer Community website and definitely sign up to the newsletter as well. With that done, it's time to take a few more questions from the chat. Ed, what are folks saying out there in the world of Chatland?
I can't
Yeah,
look at
combined
them.
a couple into one here, which is
Staring
Iron
at me
Jades
into
still
my
going to be
soul.
supported, and will old Spearhead boxes still be allowed to play in the new Spearhead rules?
100% yes to both. So Fire and Jade is absolutely going to still be available. You can download the rules for free on Warhammer Community already. You can get the rules in the Ultimate Starter Set as well for Warhammer Age of Sigmar. Will your old Spearheads still be usable? Yep, absolutely no problem at all. It's
Excellent.
an expansion to the game. It's not a replacement, so you can use whatever you like to in the game. So just there's more ways
That's
to
good
play
information
Spearhead,
right there.
which is great fun for.
We've got another great question. One of our viewers has noticed that the Seraphon are led by a unit rather than a single character. How does that work?
Indeed, do you want to take this one again?
Yeah, okay, so yes, you're right. Some of the we've seen some of the spears
look,
being led by
talking to-
units. We saw it
talking
first
to
with
each
Blue
other.
Spike Gitz
Perfect.
being led by that
Honestly,
Snarl boss on
sometimes
his,
they need some media
on
training,
Snarl
you know
Fang. We've also now got the Sunblood pack leading the Seraphon, and the Man Trappers leading the Ogres as well. Some of them work in a different way. So the Ogres sort of is a hunter with a few tokens around him. With the little
I
models
don't
with
know,
some tokens and
Sligo.
things to put down. Whereas the Sunblood pack, the Saurus, are actually 3 different models. Now they actually only have 3 health apiece, so together they make up a 9 health unit, but they're still pretty tough. That's how they work. It's actually really nice to see. I'm a big Warhammer Underworlds fan, and it's really nice to see some of the Warhammer Underworlds warbands being brought out and used in Warhammer Age of Sigmar in different ways as well. So it's just really positive.
I agree.
Cool. Okay. Anything else? Ed?
We've got a lot of 40k questions still coming through.
Oh,
which I
well,
feel
well,
is
well,
into the next
we've got
section.
time.
Maybe we'll go on to some 4K later on. But before we do, there's more stuff coming in the future for Warhammer
New ways
Age
to play
of Sigmar.
Spearhead
let's
is so
take a look
awesome. I
ahead
agree,
at
Jared.
what's
It's
coming
very
in the
exciting.
future.
Age of Sigmar,
So-
more stuff.
Coming now, we've got the Soulblight Gravelords, followed on by
Yay.
that Spearhead expansion, Sand and Bone, and then the General's Handbook.
Okay.
Taking a look a bit further forwards into the future, we have the ADEPTICON and Nighthaunt are going to be up very soon with the Blades of Khorne and the Kaldron Overlords floating our way as well.
And then
Excellent.
looking even further into the future, ooh, I wonder what that could be.
That could be one of. I got at least 3 things in my mind, but I tell you what, guys, if you're out there, if you've got an idea of what
It's
that could
probably
be,
Flesh Eater
let us know in
Corpse.
the chat, and we'll see what you think.
We've done this before, though.
That's a good one, actually. That could be. I've got at least 2 in my mind. It could definitely be. With that done,
I've seen this
let's take
trick
a move
before. They
forward
did this
into
last
the
time.
41st millennium, and boy, have we got a lot of things
Here we
to
go.
show you for
40K.
Warhammer 40,000. Let's start off then with the chapter approved deck. It's that season. We've seen the General's Handbook already. It's time for the chapter approved deck 2025 to 2026. Now, this season, we're going to see this new deck, which functionally works the same as the current chapter approved deck, but with updates to missions, objectives, and
Does that mean it's
formatting.
no longer
they're
named
really good
after
to get
a
hold of.
thing?
Crucially here, it actually includes missions specifically written for incursion games, which are
So it's no
1,000 point
longer
games
like-
with unique deployment and updated muster rules for smaller games. For
What's it
example,
called?
it's a
The
rule of
Leviathan
2
deck
for 1,000 point
and
games with up
the
to
other
4
one.
battle lines instead.
What's it currently on?
That's going to be quite fun.
Don't
We
know.
can also see on the screen something called asymmetric war as well, another new format which we've introduced for the chapter approved deck, where attacker and defender have different deployment zones and different aims within the game. So it's a much more unpredictable experience, and it's designed for 2,000 points and above.
And tournaments will
Instead of
refuse to
secret
use it 'cause
missions
it's too
this time round,
complicated.
we've got challenger cards in the chapter approved deck. A challenger is a player trailing by at least 6 victory points who can choose a challenger card
And the
or draw
it's
one.
pariah
And these new
nexus.
cards provide a stratagem and
I
a
see.
mission. Players can choose to complete the mission or use the stratagem, but not both. So similar mechanic to Spearhead if you guys have ever played that before. So nice little way of getting
I
that player back
guarantee
into the
you
game.
very few tournaments
And
will
crucially
use
here,
it.
this deck is designed to have lots of different ways to play 140,000 match play, to give you real replayability in your games and to make your games
Love
much more
asymmetric battle
exciting and
plans.
fun
I
when you
like
play
it
them.
too.
So
I think it's interesting. It adds another layer
actually
to
have repeat
40k,
missions,
right?
which is
Just,
really, really cool.
It,
So there we go.
at
That's
least
the
puts
chapter
a little
approved
bit
deck
of narrative
coming real
2K,
soon.
which is
Make sure you
cool.
get your hands on one of those when it drops.
However, that's not all that's coming for
There's loads
Warhammer
coming.
40,000.
There's so much coming.
We've also got the World Eaters.
Here we go.
Here's a
So
deck
they're
of
coming
cards.
with the Gorestorm Slaughterpack Battle Force, including a whole host of 8-bound jackals, as well as the Slaughterbound, that brand new hero. So this guy,
There you
where
go.
8-bound has sort of
That's it.
demons trapped within him, is basically taken on a bloodthirster that's given him exceptional strength. Along with them, they've got their brand new Codex. And within that is obviously going to be all of your rules and background for the 12th Legion.
Because
Scarthrax,
what 8-bound really needed was a
Warbands,
character to
characters,
improve them.
as well as the Red Angel's Gate, where Angron first manifested on Armageddon.
You're absolutely right. We've got a Slaughterbound. This is the new hero who's going to be coming into play for the World Eaters. A monstrous hero who can lead 8-bound or exalted 8-bound into
that's
battle.
coming in a
And is
battle
so
force,
angry,
that'll
Alex,
be-
that he rages at them and returns slain models to life.
I said that's coming in a
So
battle
angry he
force.
can't
so-
die.
So absolutely right. The Codex is coming as well, of course, including 5 new detachments. You can include Cornate demons in your army, much like the Emperor's Children could include Slaneshi demons in the army. And one of the
character.
detachments is the Khorne Demonkin, where you can use an enhancement to have a Lord on a Juggernaut leading Blood Crushers and Fleshhounds as a unit, which is just great fun.
Demonkin.
And there we go. Do you know what? Talking of
That's cool.
Cornate demons. Well, we've got a little something to say, and it's over to Ed in Apology Corner.
Yeah, so Karanak should be in the Codex Demons Index. He's not, and we know that everyone wants it, so have no fear. He will be back when the World Eaters Codex comes out. Be both in that and also in an updated index at the same time.
There we go. Good news for all you Khorne Demon fans. Our apologies, guys. We're going to fix that mistake when that book drops. So thanks for that patience on that one. But right, keeping on the Chaos theme, what else is coming?
Indeed, we're going to see the Death Guard. So the Death Guard, likewise, have the Pox Wrought
Oh,
Vector Battle
that's
Force,
very
the
funny.
Fetid Light Drone, Lord of Poxes, Blightless Crawler, Blightlord Terminators, Plague Marines,
Oh,
and a whole
that's
host
funny.
of disease-ridden bodies,
Karanak
along
returns!
with the Lord of Poxes. So these are the masters of airborne contagion.
That's
constantly
the
pumping
other
out a
brand
foul,
new World
fetid
Eaters
smog
miniature.
with that miasmic turbine on its back.
Karanak.
It allows to both screen near advance
Karanak
and
into
as
the
a
Khorne
weapon.
Demons
Yeah,
Codex.
it's horrible, that thing on his back as well. He basically doesn't let enemies too far away from him see him at all. That gigantic sword on his back is a great plague blade. And let me tell you, when I tell you, it's one of the most powerful combat weapons in
man.
40k. It's great.
It's nice
Again,
to
the
see this
Codex
miniature up
includes
close
lots
properly
of
like this,
attachments. We can have
It looked
Nurgle
cooler
demons
than I
in the
initially
book.
gave it
6
credit for.
attachments in there, including
At first
one
I
that's
was like,
very
okay,
demons heavy,
it's fine.
and
It's
one
Death
that
Guard
lets you
food.
have an unending horde of Poxwalkers, just as you'd hope to see, which is cool. And you know what? Let's round off.
Two Sons only get a
the
character, I'm
unholy
going to
triumvirs
end it
of,
all.
of
Christ,
chaos.
it's not that
We've got
bad.
the Thousand
It'll be all
Sons.
right.
Yes. So they've also got the
There you
Warplane
go.
Thrallband Battle Force.
3 new
a bunch
models.
of Sorcerers, Scarab Occult Terminators, Rubric Marines, and you can see there at the front those Sector robots. So these are mechanical constructs with features
Or
of
2
ancient
new
prospering
robots.
spirits or
it
tutelary
just 2 new
demonic
robots?
servants, and they're saturated in sorcerous power with runes of misdirection and illusion. One of their key features are their psychically controlled bodyguards. They're threaded through
Is that it?
spells of prophecy.
I mean,
so
those
you
are
can
cool.
essentially foresee attacks on their master, able to jump in the way of bullets or move them out of the way.
They're actually also able to foresee where the enemy's going to be as well, which
look
allows
nice.
this unit to use the Overwatch stratagem for free, which is terrifying, especially when they can be armed with heavy warp flamers, as well as missile racks and melter guns.
Still no close combat,
These things
though,
are
so,
terrifyingly
you know.
tough. They actually count
Oh,
as
look.
vehicles as well, which is cool, because one of the detachments in the Thousand Sun book lets you take loads of vehicles, so you can have a robot heavy force if you want to. Great fun. Of course, as each
I
demons
feel like
are
the
in the
Twitch
Codex
ads
as
are
well, as
being
you'd
really
expect
cruel
from these
to me
books
at
at
the
this
moment.
point.
Hey.
And in the Crusade section, you can plot and scheme with the
How
Great
about
Cult
Wait
in
World?
Crusade as well. And talking of the codexes, we've seen already the Emperor's Children having that absolutely beautiful limited edition codex, and you know what?
There you
We're
go.
doing the same with the 3 others we're releasing as well.
Oh.
Of course, on the screen you can see the World Eaters. We've got the Death Guard and Thousand Suns coming too.
Oh,
These
that's a
books,
cover
Alex,
art.
are absolutely incredible, aren't they?
Oh yes, these are absolutely chocked full of cool
That's
little
cover
bits
art.
of memorabilia, that limited edition codex. However, they look cool on screen.
They really do.
But in person, physically, they're much better.
Right.
And Ed, you've managed to get your hands on them, haven't you?
400.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna gone to AM. The studio was not occupied, so I went in. I thought I'd nick them. So
Oh, he's already turned off Twitch chat, you can't be
asked.
arsed.
Parts, a nice, almost torn cover.
We're not taking questions
Got
anymore.
3 parts to each book. We've got the codex itself with gilt-edged gold pages. Some really nice artwork in each piece as well.
Now, here's the
So
thing.
every book's going to come with 5
Here's the
pieces
thing
of
about these.
relevant themed
They're
artwork
beautiful.
for your god.
They are
Those
absolutely
are
beautiful.
gorgeous. I've had a
It's a
cheeky
very,
look
very
myself.
cool little package of things.
And
Awesome
then
to
we
see.
obviously have
Very
a large
pretty.
bookcase
Very
with,
cool.
gilt-edged
Is it
data
worth the
cards,
money?
your
It is if you really
stratagems.
love
We've
these
got
things.
our
However, we have
metal
seen a
tokens
restricting
for
of the
objective
narrative in
markers.
these
And
books.
finally,
So
there's
really,
this
the
really
function
nice
of these books
solid
is to
metal
last
medallion that we
either
can
as a
make.
collector's
They
item to never
all
be touched and never
magnetise
played with,
together for a
or
large
to be
medallion. That
used
is so
until
weighty
July
in
next
hand.
year.
I feel like I want to use this as the objective marker instead of the smaller ones somehow.
I can't help feeling that completing the quadrant there is the medallions
So,
live here in the studio is going to summon
if I
some
bought
sort
them,
of
I
I do
blood
bloodthirst.
feel
pressure.
like
Oh, exactly.
I've got
I
power
wouldn't-
coursing through me somehow. Maybe it's the
I wouldn't touch
adrenaline for getting my hands on all 4 of them.
Those are absolutely stunning. There's going to be
Like the
very
objective
limited
markers
edition.
are
There are
very.
going to be only 1,600 copies of
objective
each
markers are
available
very pretty.
when they go on release.
That's
so
very
if you want
pretty.
one of those,
We've seen that
or
one
even all 4
before.
of those, make sure you get one as soon as you possibly can, because
Oh,
I
that's
reckon
nice.
They'll be
The
horrid-
artwork's
horrid- they'll be
beautiful. I
selling
love
like
that
hotcakes.
style.
So
It
there we
reminds
go.
me of.
That's the limited edition Chaos
It reminds me of a
Filth
lot of
coming
stuff
very
actually that you
soon.
see in Ghost of
But
Tsushima.
I've had enough of talking about Chaos Filth. We've got some other cool stuff coming. It's time to go a little bit Imperium, as the Grey Knights are seeing their update here too. Alex, what have we got here?
Indeed, so this is the Sanctic Conclave Battle Force with the Grandmaster and Nemesis Dread Knight, units of Brotherhood Terminators, and Strike Squads. So they're also getting their new Codex, chocked full of all the background. The Grey Knights are basically super anti-demonic forces with their armour threaded
That's
through
a
the
Nemesis
psychoactive
Dread Knight
circuitry.
upgrade sprue. Am I
And the Dread Knights in
imagining that?
particular were made to combat the most horrific monsters, namely greater demons. Now this is an update to that Dread Knight kit.
It is indeed. We've had the rules for a Grandmaster in a Dread Knight for a little while, but now we've actually got a full kit to represent the most heroic heroes of the
There
Grey
you go.
Knights in a Dread Knight, ready to fight those greater demons, with weapon upgrades including the Subliminator, the huge Psychic Melter, and a Nemesis Mace, which is what this thing has in common, massive Psychic Blunt Force Trauma, which can destroy enemies. There's also a Nemesis Flail,
That's it
which
for
is
Grey
sort of like a
Knights.
Morning Star version as well, which is coming here as well. So we've got new weapons for that guy, and a great new addition kit. It's basically like the Nemesis Dread Knight kit with an upgrade sprue in there as well to make it into a Grey Knight Grandmaster.
There you go,
which
Nemesis
is
Dread
just
Knight upgrade sprue.
In terms of the Codex,
Model of the year, that'll be.
Grey Knight players can expect to see rules like Gate of Infinity still there, slightly tweaked. We've got 5 detachments in there covering lots of different army styles, including the Sanctic Spearhead, which covers vehicles and walkers. So you can have an army of Dread Knights and Dreadnoughts if you wanted to, which is great. In Crusade, you can stave off Chaos incursions with the aid of vision sent to you by the Prognosticars, which is cool. I like the sound of that.
Now, speaking
They
of
clearly don't
Prognosticars,
feel like
the
these
Grey
models need
Knights have
updating.
foreseen an invasion of a world that has previously been invaded by the World Eaters.
Aha, of course. This is the new Crusade book, Armageddon. And Armageddon is a war zone that will be
They could release
familiar to
nothing for
many
40k and
veteran
people will
Warhammer
still buy
players.
it.
Alex,
Yeah,
why
I
is
agree.
Armageddon such a big deal?
Well, it's been the site of many horrific invasions. Now, the world stands directly in the path of one of the Blood Crusades. It's splintered on all Celt territories in Golgotha. However, they've descended to plague the
Armageddon.
whole sector. Now, the amount of blood that has been spilt has basically fed the Red Angel's Gate, where Angron first emerged into Armageddon. And as such, the Conqueror has heeded the call and arrived. So the World Eaters have descended to Armageddon itself, but they're faced with regiments of the Death
Come on,
Corps,
40k.
Logan Grimness Space Wolves,
You've
High Marshal
got-
Holbrook's Black
You've
Templars,
got less than
and
10 minutes
the
to blow
Grey
us
Knights
away.
have foreseen this invasion.
This is so cool. What a great way to kick off a new war zone. And this actual book itself is a Crusade book. And if you've never played Crusade before, it's a wonderful way of linking your games together in a
They
narrative
need to tilt
sense,
that camera
where
down a little bit, or at
forces
least move
get
the Warhammer
enhancements,
side
or your units
down a
get
bit, or
upgrades
raise
as you
their
go
chairs
along.
up.
And it's really
It's
cool way of
slightly
playing
weird
40k.
that the
If you've never
midpoint
played,
of the
I
screen
seriously recommend. We're playing at the
is
moment.
their tops of
and
their
it's
heads.
it's great fun. You can either choose to defend
Little feedback.
Armageddon, to attack
Yeah,
Armageddon.
see how
or
I'm
perhaps
right
be
in the
one
middle of the
third,
screen?
the third party there of just
It's on the
not
wall.
quite sure
It is a little
which
bit.
side you're going to represent. Maybe you'll decide later on. And there's a tree campaign inside the book for all those 3 factions as they sort of take the battle to the enemy over the course of Armageddon. It's great. We've got Crusade badges
be a
in there.
nightmare to
There's
try and
focus
get
on
foaming
epic
contents
heroes,
insurance
mighty
if you live on
deeds,
Armageddon.
fighting
Oh, yeah,
hellscapes
absolutely.
as the barriers between warp and reality
It's a
just
racket down
merge.
there for the insurance
and
companies.
what's really cool as well is there's rules for unbound demons flocking to your game as sort of non-player characters sort of running in and just taking both sides and just causing complete
glad-
havoc as there's a demonic
I'm
invasion
glad,
on Armageddon, which is just great.
Crusade
So,
gets
yeah,
another book,
seriously,
that's
Armageddon,
cool.
Crusade coming very
If
soon.
you like Crusade out
Hey, do
there,
you know
that
what?
should be good news for
Armageddon
people.
does sound pretty cool.
Yeah.
It
At
sounds
least they're
pretty
going somewhere that they haven't already covered for the past
Blood
3 editions.
Armageddon.
You know? I know Armageddon's been around a long time, but
An imperial linchpin plagued by invasion and constant bloody warfare.
at least it's going somewhere that we haven't seen for a while, which is cool.
Now the Blood God's followers swarm across the planet's ravaged surface. On the brink
Oh, where
of
he should have
annihilation,
always been since he
the
returned.
world's defenders issue a desperate plea for aid. Will anyone answer their call?
As our intercessors. Or with the Slayer. Okay, so a lot of stuff coming out around Armageddon.
The Adeptus Astartes must halt the demonic tide.
No Lehman Russ?
Armageddon is on the brink.
That was incredible,
Wow.
and everybody there will have noticed a whole new raft of space wolves.
Oh, they're here. The Space Wolves are here. We've been waiting for them for a
Oh,
long
yes.
time. And it's great to see a fantastic new range of miniatures coming your way for the Space Wolves.
I noticed no Thunder
Let's
Wolves.
take a look because, I mean, look at these.
Stunning.
It's just we've waited and waited, and here they are. This, in particular, what we're seeing right now is the Space Wolves Army launch set coming to you soon. Included in there is the
Wolfguard?
new Wolf Priest, the new Battle Leader, the new Head Takers, the Blood Claws, and the Grey Hunters. We're all getting new miniatures there. We'll talk about all of these. They got the new Codex in there as well. Oh wow! What a force! And let's have a look.
I mean,
at some
they're
of the
very
models
pretty.
a bit closer, shall we? Starting off with the Wolf Priest. Now. My
waited for a
compatriot
long
Simon
time
here
to
tells
add
me
some stuff
that
to my,
aside from a
my
random
Space
Games Day
Wolves.
miniature some 20 years ago, this is the first time Games Workshop has done a Wolf Priest miniature, so it's great to see. And I'm right in thinking this is a kind of mix between an apothecary and a chaplain.
Indeed, their duties are to observe the warring tribes of Fenris and to sort of select potential aspirants. They harvest gene seed,
New Grey
they tend
Hunters
to
and
the
Blood
wounded, but
Claws.
they're also spiritual
they
advisors
Grey Hunters
preparing
and
their
Blood Claws?
brothers for mental and spiritual trials.
It's really nice. This model's actually got quite a few options here as well.
That's
Got
a
head
very
options,
pretty
helmeted,
miniature.
bare heads as well.
I will tip
in
my hat
game,
to them.
you can restore wounds to units that you've joined, and also add one to melee wound rolls, the Litany of Hates. It's got rules from both the
Clearly no
Apothecarian
rust,
and
though.
the chaplaincy as well, which is just cool. Also in the box set, we've got
Maybe we have
another
to wait
leader,
another
the
edition.
Wolfguard Battle Leader. Might be my favourite model of the box, this one.
It's very cool.
It's so cool. Again,
looks like
lots
the
of
lion.
options here. Helmeted, bare heads, different weapon options as well. Who are the Wolfguard Battle Leaders?
So these guys are members of the Wolf Guard, and they're deputized into leading warriors on the battlefield. They're essentially the equivalent of
That's
a
painted
Space
really
Marine
nicely as
lieutenant.
well. Like top-notch paint
They're
job there.
typically temporary positions, but
They're
a
slightly
walk
less
around
baby
years,
blue than they
decades.
normally do them
so
as well.
temporary is a
slightly
odd
nice-
term to use.
nicer,
They've
more
got access to
muted
ancient and
colour that
powerful
they've got
relics
there.
from the Great Company's armory, and when the Wolf Lord falls, it is from amongst these Wolf Guard that his replacement is found. So giving them experience in these leadership roles is invaluable.
You
It's a
want
shame
these
that
guys
that's not an
leading your
axe.
units into combat, specifically your Wolf
Sword
Guard
and
Head
shield.
Takers, your Grey Hunters,
it makes
or
sense.
your Blood Claws, which is the next new unit we're going to have a look at
There
here.
you go.
Look
Blood
at
Claws.
these. What a great update on an iconic Space Wolf unit. These guys are the sort of the newer Space
He's a
Wolves.
jolly chap.
Loads of options all over the kit, including different heads and things as well. They're wearing slightly lighter armour than other Marines as well, so they look like they're a bit newer. That suits their background, right?
Yeah, they're young and impetuous, and they need to prove themselves, temper themselves in battle. Like all chapters, training
Lehman
is
Russ
harsh
way.
and extensive, but
I know, right?
battlefield experience
That'll
is
be
the
what the
most
Twitch chat
valuable. And
says.
so the Blood Claws are not discouraged from taking up positions in the vanguard.
That's pretty cool. Like now, as Blood Claws have been in the past, these guys are combat centric, carrying their Astartes chainsword and their bolt pistol. But the big news here is, like all Space Wolves infantry in Tacticus armor, they are movement 7. So they're faster than other Space Marines because they're desperate to get into combat. They're cunning hunters as
Cool.
well, allowing them to reroll 1s to wound. And if the target is in range of an objective, they can reroll all wounds,
like it.
which is pretty cool. Just like the Grey Hunters, who are the other iconic Space Wolf unit, which we are seeing new models for here as well. Again, all plastic, loads of options
Grey
for the
Hunters.
pack leader,
You're right,
lots
you
of
got
options
it.
all over the kit to really personalise your Marines.
They're all
which
looking
is perfect
down.
for the Grey Hunters, as they're sort of
yeah.
they're more the veteran Marines, aren't they?
Yeah, so they've survived long enough as Blood Claws to become Grey Hunters, and this is when the Canis Helix is really presenting a bit more apparently. So they've got grey hairs, fangs, rougher skin, all of those like canine developments that we love with the Space Wolves. They're really closely bonded units. They work independently
They're
or as
really
part of a
nice.
larger force. They're stalwart and reliable and hold that
Couple of
sort
Mark
of
7 helmets in
fire
there.
akin to the Blood Claws. They're a core part of your Space Wolf force.
Absolutely core. These guys are great at everything. They have Astartes chainsword, so they can pack a punch in combat. Each Marine carries a bolt carbine, allowing them to fire up to 3 shots apiece. The pack leader can have a power fist or a power weapon. But the big news here, as well as the fact that they can move 7 inches like the Bloodcores, is that this unit are OC3 apiece, which makes them absolutely perfect for
Why
holding
is that the
and
big
capturing
news? The
objectives
big news is
from
the model.
enemy.
The rules I don't
they
care
are
about.
absolutely core, and I hate to admit it, but they might be one of the best core battle line units in the Imperial forces. So yeah, get your hands on or your claws on some
More
of these.
like
if you possibly
lame
can.
news, am I right?
Up next, we've got the elites of the force, the head takers, and their hunting wolves.
So the head takers tend to be from those Wolfguard who still retain some of their youthful recklessness.
They're very
And they
nice.
specialise in
I
hunting
like
down
those a
enemy
lot.
champions, beasts, warlords. Those Fenrisian wolves with them are closely bonded to them. And it's so strong that it's almost as if they act as one, like an instinctive
They're
coordination.
very pretty.
These are elite infantry, similar to Blade Guard veterans you might recognise from the Space Marines.
have to hide
They
it
have loads of
somehow.
options. There's
It's
9
hyped on its
interchangeable
own.
head options in the kit for your bare helmeted or your bare heads or your helmeted. There's lots of bare heads in the Space Wolf kits, which is great because that really suits them. You can give these guys different weapon options. They can come with a mastercrafted power weapon and shield, or a pair of
Just
mastercrafted
look
power
at
weapons
them.
for 6 attacks apiece. The
hype
head
is already
takers and
real,
hunting
you know.
wolves fight as separate units on the battlefield, which is quite interesting. So you can run them around separately. You were talking about the sort of going for the big monsters and the champions there. Before the game, you select one enemy unit to be your quarry, and they get devastating wounds and precision when targeting that quarry. And when they've killed it, they just select a new unit and a new quarry, which is terrifying.
It's
Of
funny,
course,
I
inside this
converted
box,
some Blade Guard
we're
and
also
look
seeing the
almost
Space
exactly
Wolves
like that.
Codex
Nice.
supplement as well. Like I
Oh,
said,
that's
this
a
is in
pretty
conjunction
box,
with the
isn't
Space Marines Codex as well, but it contains full background on Space Wolves faction.
I've seen that art before,
The
I'm
colour
pretty
section with
certain.
loads of
But that's
cool
very,
shots
very,
of
very
miniatures, army rules, everything you expect from the Codex, of course. There are 3 detachments inside, each with their own
Yum,
theme
yum, yum.
and their own saga to complete. Complete your saga and get additional rules, which is really cool. And in Crusade, there are new Oathsworn campaigns, expanding on those in Space Marines Codex. So the Space Wolf theme saga to complete, earn deeds of
tasty.
making, exclusive battle traits, scars, agendas, everything else you expect from Crusade as well.
Indeed, my favourite little aspect often of these codexes is the little asides, the little
Custodians
addendums that are added to it.
The Custodians
And there's a
Codex
quote
came
from
out
an
ages
Inquisitor, I
ago.
think really
It's
sums it
done,
up.
isn't it? You're not
They
getting
are
any more of
deviants
that.
all, these Space Wolves, uncouth and lacking in honour, informal and without discipline. They respond with contempt to direct orders, scoff at Lord Guilliman's Codex Astartes, and treat the orders of Imperial commanders with contempt. And I think that sums them up perfectly.
Yeah, and an awful lot of Space Wolf players I've met as well, to be fair. You know who you guys are. Well, that's an incredible range of miniatures coming for the Space Wolves. And what's more, that's not all. There's going to be more coming as well. We just haven't shown you everything yet. Expect some more characters, some more elite units coming too. But keep your acute senses fixed on Warhammer
I'll check
Community
Rockfist.
website, where you can get to see more of those in
Stormcaller.
the very near future. So that's great news.
Surprised there isn't one of them in there.
That range refresh we've been looking for, and it's here. Congratulations, guys. But let's have a look now over to Question Corner. Ed, folks are going to be happy about the Space Wars, right? Surely.
They are indeed. There's lots of love for Space
Oh,
Wolves.
laptop's back open.
Space Wolf related question though is: do we know if Thunderwolf cavalry are still going to be riding across the battlefield?
So we're not going to answer any questions about that right now because the Warhammer Community website is going to give you more details about what's going to be included in the Codex coming forward. There's loads of articles coming about that. So just keep your eyes on Warhammer Community for now, and all your questions will be answered right there on the website. And sign up for the newsletter if you haven't already, for definite.
Yeah, but a couple of questions that have been
Ed
asked since
seems
actually
so
before the stream
overworked.
started, and they've
Okay.
been asked throughout. So
Eager.
it's time to come to them. Imperial Knights, obviously on the last roadmap, they appeared as one of the next codexes. Now, obviously, we've got Chaos sort of coming at a similar time. When can we see Imperial Knights? Do we think?
We will answer that momentarily.
Ooh,
Oh, okay.
Still to
Interesting,
come,
interesting.
essentially.
Well,
Chaos Knights, do you know if they're ever getting a named character? That's another question that's been asked since the beginning.
Well, I mean, I'm going to be real pedantic here, but in White Dwarf 509, they got 2 named characters in the Combat Patrol. So there we go. That they already exist. As 4 other named characters in
that's
the future,
Combat Patrol, though.
I
That
don't
doesn't
know, to be
count,
honest with you. Again,
does it?
your eyes on
That's not
Warhammer.
what they're really asking.
If we haven't
Come
talked
on
about it
now.
here, we can't mention it yet. Warhammer Community's got all the information you need, guys.
Yeah, so tied into that, again, we've had questions about the release dates of the different codexes. Again, same thing, it'll be announced on Warcom. Another question about them, though, is are they all releasing at the same time, or are they staggered?
Ooh, that's a good question. We know the Army launch set's going to be released as itself, but then we'll see other stuff coming out later on as well. Release dates and everything, completely up to other
Come
people
on,
rather than
like,
us.
you know the
Again,
answer to that
the
question.
community and the social media channels are the place to look for that. And I know we've got burning questions
You know?
we want to answer, guys. We can't say everything quite yet, but keep your eyes on Warhammer Community. That's the place to look.
I do have a potential lore-based question. Obviously, we're coming back to Armageddon. Wouldn't be Armageddon without Old Man Yarrick. Now, is he still around in the lore?
As we saw from the Astra Militarum Codex a while back, Yarrick is, as far as the Imperium is concerned, deceased. There was a great memorial for him.
There we
So,
go.
unfortunately, no.
Well, at least, it's a
Cool.
hard no. Read the Codex Astra Militarum. It's
There was
decisive.
there was a body.
Sorry, guys. He's an old man no longer. But hope that answers that, but maybe not the way you wanted us to, I guess. Anything else, Ed?
Again, there's just lots of questions.
And yet
about
Tycho
minis,
survived
what
up
we
until
can
this
next,
edition,
all those
so-
will just still be
Do you know what?
check out.
You know.
We would love to answer all those questions, guys.
Yes.
And as hobbyists ourselves, we totally understand, but we can't say everything right now. Just keep your eyes on the One King's website and you'll see all that. In fact, should we take a look right now, a little look further ahead at what might be coming next for Warhammer 40,000?
Go on then.
So, coming up first, we've got the Thousand Suns. They're going to be marching in with those new Sector robots. Then we've got the Space Wolves howling in, the World Eaters. Finally, the Death Guard are going to make a slow trudge up the field.
They're coming quite soon as
Cool.
well. It's saying right now on the screen, so they're coming real soon, which is good news for all you Chaos fans and Space War fans. Now, what's coming next? We've got the Black Templars, we've got the Grey Knights, the Chaos Knights and Imperial Knights are stomping over the horizon as we speak.
And then a little bit further on, these are 3 more factions coming. Now, I'm pretty sure I can guess at least 2 of these.
Yeah, me too, but they are definitely interesting. And in the
Salamanders,
far,
Votan,
far
and Imperial
future,
Fists.
something's coming. It's a shadowy shape. What could it be? Let us know in the chat what you think that could be, because I've got a couple of theories, certainly. What do you reckon? I reckon there's a few theories.
A Space
Yeah,
Marine?
yeah, me too. So there we go. That's what's coming for the future for Warhammer 40,000. We've got just enough time for a couple more questions. Ed, is there anything else that's burning people want to know?
There's a lot of questions about Warcry, where we're at with the current edition. Obviously, we've still got a lot
That's
of Warcry
Donkey
models
Kong.
out at the moment. Have you got any updates on Warcry?
Nothing to report at the moment. Again, keep your eyes on one. It's going to be the same answer pretty much. Just keep your eyes on one community for all updates as for that sort of thing. Anything else, Ed?
See, this is the problem with having Question Corner when the answer is we can't tell you or look at
The
Warcom.
dark mechanic.
Ooh, time will tell.
Time will tell. Backdoor, of course, is the sort of the dark mechanic of the Chaos Forces, right?
Yes.
Has he perhaps built them, maybe?
Oh,
I don't know.
These are ancient robots,
Oh,
so
okay.
these have been around for a very long time. But that's not to say that Vastor isn't going to have some sort of hand in anything technological. He's happily shown up at the Pariah Nexus. Obviously, he's got Wormwood. It wouldn't surprise me if his claws got all over the place.
Vastor is completely inconsequential,
There we
as we
go.
learned.
Do you know what? That's been an absolutely brilliant show. We've seen some fantastic releases, some fantastic previews coming up.
Any
What
questions?
we saw,
No,
saw
not
the
those.
Old World.
Not going to
we
answer
saw,
anything you want to
Kill
hear.
Team.
Oh, yes. Space Wolves.
Space
All
Wolves.
those 40k releases
All
for the
those-
Chaos
We shall go and have
Yeah,
a look,
the
of course, at the
Spearheads come
Warcom
up on the
website.
Sigmar as well. What's
That's where
been
I'm being
your favourite
redirected
of
to.
the,
But maybe there'll be a
shows?
final teaser.
I'm awfully tempted by the Raveners in that Kill Team box,
pretty
but
cool.
I think it's going to have to be the Grand Cathay and Dragon.
Yeah, beautiful model. And for me, I think I'm a Spearhead fan, so I'm really looking forward to playing.
Is
Sand and
Eisenhorn
Bone.
dead?
And
Let
I
Dan
can't
give
wait to
them
see
more
someone
plot
play some of
armor.
those new Space Wolves
I
as
think
well.
Eisenhorn is still
It's gonna be
kicking
good.
about. He
It's
was
been an
last
absolute
seen in-
blast. Thank you so
was
much,
it
guys, for
Beckwin?
joining us here on the preview show. Just a quick one. If you want to see any more pictures and information about what we've shown here today, make sure you're going over to the Warhammer Community website where you can have a look at some more pictures.
Old World and
check out more
AOS take this
information.
preview show,
And also
hands
sign up to the
down.
newsletter
The
as
first
well,
mi-
which is where you'll
41st
get all the
millennium is
first
looking pretty
information. You can sign up to our social
The old
media,
world,
which is, again, where you'll see
100%.
loads of pictures.
The old world, I
You
think.
can see on Facebook,
That's the
YouTube,
big
Instagram,
news.
and X. Sign up there
With Cathay.
and get all
Cathay
the
is the big
information
news, and
straight
it
to you.
is stunning.
And also this weekend at ADEPTICON we have other streams coming right here on Twitch as well. So if you want to see the Warhammer 40,000 Championship or the Warhammer 40,000 Team Tournaments, they're all being streamed over the next 4 days up until Sunday.
What did
so
I
do
miss?
check them out
Nothing
right
really.
here on Twitch.
Rich.
Thank you to everyone involved behind the scenes.
You
behind the
missed a lot of
camera.
eye
Those of you in the
contact.
chat. Notley, you're absolute legend. Thank you so much indeed.
A lot of eye
Alex, Ed, it's
contact.
been a real pleasure. I think that's it, guys. I think we're signing out.
Yep.
Thank you so much for joining us, guys. And we'll see you next time.
Cheers.
Goodbye.
Cool, no final shots then. Nope, that's it. Okay, cool. All right, let's mute that. Let's go back over here. So now, guys, so what you've just seen a lot of cool stuff, and now just to make sure that you're not, that you're not missing out on what you just saw in the stream, is I'm going to now uncomfortably look at you in the eye. Any questions? Any questions? Anyone have questions? Anyone have questions? Anyone have any super chats or memberships or anything like that? I'll look at you. I'll stop looking at you in the eye. Let's head over here to Warcom, and I shall pull it up. Right, let's go right back to the beginning, and there we go. So we'll head back over here. Here we go. Okay, so first up, we have. Can you guys see that all right? Should I zoom in a little bit? How's that? Is that all good? Right, so we have Wood Elves versus Beastmen, Beasts of Chaos. Beastmen Brayherds Battalion, an Arcane Journal. Excuse me, I've got the hiccups all of a sudden. Returning plastic images. Yeah, there he is. We already have a tutorial on how to paint this guy here on the left. That's fun, isn't it? That's really cool. And then we have the rest of this Beastmen stuff. Lots of cool stuff for the Beastmen that was around until very recently. So there you go. Please stop staring at me. It makes me feel things I think make make us both uncomfortable. Restreambot, thank you so much for the $50 super chat. You've been incredibly generous tonight. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Apparently these are returning resin miniatures, but that one was new there. So, that's returning resin. Okay, returning resin. There you go. Lots of... Stop staring at us like that, or we're going to need to sand and bone. Yeah, well, you can get your sand and your bone. Returning metal miniatures. 1, 2, 3. There you go. Cool. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. This is what I truly care about. Returning plastic miniatures. Okay. So there we go. Lovely. Perfect. Awesome. Sick. Fantastic. Brilliant. Lovely. Interesting. Okay. Where were they? Yeah, there they are. These are some of my favourite miniatures of all times. Returning metal miniatures, we have Orion. Yeah, there it is. That one, right there in the middle. That's my favourite Wood Elf miniature of all times. I love this model. I will be getting this, even though it is in metal. I love this one and this one as well, but that one right there in the middle was really cool. Amazingly, that is returning in metal, and you'll be able to kill a man with that, so that's cool. Have to sleep. We'll catch the rest later. All right, good night, Maureen. And also, good night to... Was it Philip? Said it's 4 a.m.? Yeah. Good night, Philip. All my questions will be answered soon on Warhipster Community. Exactly. That's what we do around here. Not that I know very much. I also really love this miniature. And that's the old Branch Wraith as well. So it's not gone forever. And there's the Tree Man. But interestingly, none of the Tree Lords and stuff that originally released in Old World in the end times are coming back into it by the looks of things. So that's interesting. That is interesting indeed. All right, there we go. So there you go. That's the first part. But this right here is the highlight. This is this. Because this. I mean, okay, Grand Cathay. Literally stealing the show from everyone. And I wouldn't have thought to say that about Old World, but there we go. There you have it. The Jade Warriors in all of their glory. That is beautiful. The Jade Lancers in all of their glory. Incredible stuff. Cannot wait to get my hands on these. I'm very, very, very hyped up for Cathay. All new miniatures, all new plastic. Perfect. 10 out of 10. No notes. The Cathayan Grand Cannon. The Fire Rain Rocket Battery. This thing, which I'm not going to try and pronounce right now. Shugengan Lord on Great Spirit Longma. I hope I got... What? Stream back up? Did it go away? Are we here? It disappeared for a minute there, I think. Shenanigan Lord. Yeah, it it broke at my end for 2 seconds. Yeah. Anyway, Gate Masters of the Celestial Cities. We have the Sky Lantern. This thing is enormous by the looks of things. It looks awesome. Now, the questions earlier before the stream really kicked in was, is there things that you would sub-assemble? In this instance, the crew. That is something I would probably recommend sub-assemblying. Because those things will just be a nightmare to paint otherwise, given how everything's cramped in. That is an example of where it makes sense. These are absolutely gorgeous. Beautiful. Incredible. I want 5. And depending, I mean, look, it would be fun to get a couple of them to play the Spearhead. To get 3 of them to play Spearhead as the Sons of Bahamut. Sound keeps dropping. Does it? Is the sound dropping? Can you hear me okay? Is it okay? 3, take it or leave it. I mean, look, they're just beautiful. And then we of course have the oh, hang on, that was the big one. The Arcane Journal was there, and Mei Ying, the Storm Dragon. This might be the prettiest model I've seen in a very, 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 very long time. If that is not Model of the Year, I don't know what is. It's beautiful, stunning, gorgeous, dynamic, awesome, and it's on a square base. It's ridiculous, utterly ridiculous, that Old World is getting something as cool as that. That is like, but like it reads as AOS, but it's not AOS. Like, it's got elements of AOS-ness to it, but it's very much being an Old World model. You can see, like, just in terms of some of the lines and some of the curvatures of the things, like it's not as rambunctious. I think that might be or ostentatious as Age of Sigmar can be, which is weird to say, but like, it's a beautiful model, absolutely stunning and fantastic. I can see this one being submitted for many, many, many Golden Demons. And winning one of them at least. But there you go. It's just, yeah, Old World wins. Hands down. There's no question in my mind. Based on that. It's just breathtaking. And it's plastic. Plastic as well. Which is ridiculous. Imagine that beauty on a round base. I really could. If we did a donation fundraiser, could you perhaps get 2 more kits of Mei Ying to paint as her siblings, Xiao Ming and Yuan Bo? Maybe. I'd need to know what they look like rather than just, guessing. AOS got done dirty this reveal show. Well, kind of. Yes. Yeah, I guess yes it did. Didn't get a new battle tome or anything like that. Here we have Kill Team Typhon. With the new Raveners. There they are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 options in the box. These are optional builds here for the Warrior / Venom Spitter. Wrecker Terrorsize by the looks of things. Prime and Fell Talon. So that's cool. Then we also have, Techno Archaeologist. That for sure is a model that's already come out. I'm 100% certain that we've already seen that one before. But I could be wrong. This guy, I'm pretty certain we've seen before as well from the Inquisitorial Kill Team. Those look new, and they also look new. I'm like I said, I'm pretty certain that is a model we've seen before, but I'm not sure. That one looks like the thingy, but yeah. You get all of these bits of terrain. That's them and the Raveners is the headline there, really, I think. And then you get all of those cards and stuff, which is cool. interesting to see. And yeah, be interesting to see again how that slots into Volcus as well. Like you can see all the Volcus terrain from Hivestorm and such being used here, and then having some Tyrannid stuff added in to kind of create that even denser board. I'm getting to the point of where I'm going to have a very, very, very dense kill team board if I was to use everything from Volcus, but we shall see. Anyway, there you go. Spearhead, we are getting Sand and Bone, the next Spearhead pack. So this is going to include the card, which is double-sided, so it's 2 different areas to play in, as well as a new set of terrain. A new realm means new twists, new battle tactics, new objectives named for the Mortarks and Nagash, and terrain fit for the Realm of Death, which you may recognise from the Warcry Crypt of Blood starter set. So there you go. Yep, it is reused Warcry terrain inside, so not new terrain, but it is a new Spearhead season. They confirmed in the stream that this is an expansion. It is not a replacement, which is great. So, you know, fantastic. Exciting for fans of Spearhead. I'm a fan of Spearhead. It's great core system to learn how to play Age of Sigmar, and awesome that it's getting an expansion. That's really exciting and lovely to see. And then 4 new Spearheads as well. At minimum, there might be more in there. Who knows? We shall have to see. But we have the fusel. These will be things that you can buy. There's no new miniatures in that one. No new miniatures in that one either. And no new miniatures in here or in here either. But there is some Underworlds teams that are coming out to play, which is great. You could chance. There's a chance to win an Age of Sigmar starter bundle. There you go. We wouldn't have known that if we hadn't looked at the Warcom. Go over to Warcom and enter this somehow. I'm not sure how. Sign up for our email newsletter, and you'll be entered into a draw to win a Spearhead box of your choice, plus a Warhammer Age of Sigmar paint and tool set to get them ready for battle. There are 10 prizes on offer. It's the perfect opportunity to get involved in time for Sand and Bone. We have the Generals of Handbook, of course. It's a new box, basically, rather than just a book, which is kind of cool. We have to see how much it costs. And then the Scourge of Gairan is a thing that is happening. Clearly some sort of narrative event sort of thing that's happening. Daily short story accompanying each faction drop. There's a bunch of extra battle formations, new enhancements, free content. So kind of like Grotmus, really. Just not attached to Christmas, you know. But there you go. I'm happy we're getting more Spearhead stuff. Me too, Jaffe Barra. I think that's really cool. We did get a little bit of an extra confirmation of what's happening now. First up, it's Soulblight Gravelords. Probably imminent. Who knows? Don't know where they are. Haven't heard anything. But there you go. Soulblight Gravelords on the way. Spearhead, Sand and Bone as a box. And the General's Handbook is all happening now. Coming next is Ideneth, Deepkin, Blades of Corn, Caradron Overlords, and Nighthaunt in that order. Followed by what is 100% Flesh Eater Courts. To my mind, there's no question. But there we go. Cool. That is Age of Sigmar. There's a new chapter approved mission deck with lots of stuff in there. Maybe they will produce more than 6 copies of this, so a bunch of people will actually be able to get their hands on it. But presumably this will be the last mission deck for 40k 10th edition, because next year will be 11th edition, probably around about June, July time. So there you go. Then we have the new 8-bound champion, Slaughterbound. That's a cool model. That's the new World Eaters model. Codex World Eaters. Death Guard getting the this dude. We saw the Lord of Poxes at the LVO preview. But there it is. Once again, LVO stuff. Then we have these. The Sekitar robots is what they're actually called, because I was talking over them at the time. And there you go. There's 2 new Thousand Suns miniatures. They look nicer there in the picture than they did in the video, I think. They're quite battered though, which kind of makes them look a little bit just kind of not great, if you see what I mean. But yeah, you're getting all the demons. There's the limited edition versions, and that's it. I think maybe painting these slightly different will make them look a little bit cooler, but we shall see. Maybe just the clean look. They look like overpriced servitors. Yeah, maybe a little bit. And then we have Grey Knights. They are getting... well, it's all part of Armageddon, Crusade Armageddon. That's the headline for the Grey Knights. And the Grey Knights are getting a new upgrade sprue for the Nemesis Dreadnought. So there you go. I mean, the flail looks better, but that's it for Grey Knights. I can imagine quite a few people will be a little bit upset about that. But there you go. Interesting. Can you pose that thing a little more interestingly? Or, well, I don't know, because it's the upgrade sprue, but not really. It does kind of stand like that. But there are people out there who are better at building who have posed them to do something interesting. So, you know, I'm a bad builder. I'm the worst person to ask about it. And then we have the new Space Wolves. Here they are. Space Wolves army set on the way. That looks like that's going to be the next army set. So that's cool. Everything's new in there, even though some of it doesn't kind of look like it. We have new blood claws. There they are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 individuals. Looking absolutely spicy and lovely. There's not too much different going on here than, let's say, an Assault Intercessor squad, but all of this will be sculpted detail and stuff rather than an upgrade sprue, which is really cool. That is nice to see. It's an interesting take on the Space Wolves. Strange that there's nothing like... I mean, I know Blood Claws and stuff are a Space Wolf specific unit, but it's strange that there's no Thunderballs in there. If indeed Thunderballs even exist anymore, they might just be now on Outriders with an upgrade sprue. Who knows? We shall see in due course. But they look nice. We have the Grey Hunters as well, and these are the slightly more experienced versions. Again, we're just getting sort of kind of sculpted detail onto stuff like the shoulders and the greaves and stuff like that. And you know, kind of lots of cool heads and stuff like that. It'd be interesting to see if the sprues in this contain helmets for everyone, or just like helmets for one or two of them, because traditionally Space Wolves don't like to wear their heads. It dulls the senses, hence why most of them are not wearing helmets, although the occasional one here and there actually are. I like the change of the breastplate as well. Some of these are just very... They look a little bit more feudal. Stuff like this as well. Just a couple of little changes to the armor here and there. Looks kind of cool. This looks like similar to the Tormentors, actually. Yep, that is an optional difference. This one here and that one there. You see it's the same legs and stuff. So it looks like it might be like the Tormentors, entirely customizable, but we shall see. We'll have to have a look. And then we have the Wolfguard Head Takers. These are new, brand new, and they look brilliant. That's the headline for me. They look awesome. I mean, the characters are cool, but they look absolutely fantastic. I love to see it. Axes aplenty. This is a cool pose. I love it. I like this helm as well. It's got more kind of a Greek look to it, which is weird, but you can take that kind of hoplite look to it, as it were. But that's nice. The Wolfguard Battle Leader is here. Oh, look at that Thunderhammer. There we go. That's pretty. That's very, very pretty. Lovely. Thunderhammer and Storm Shield. What's not to like? These are Primaris sized. Yeah, absolutely they are. Absolutely they are. There we go. And there's the Wolf Priest. An actual Wolf Priest model. Which looks cool. With a little stabby knife. This head right here. Top right. 10 out of 10. No notes. Love that. There's a little bit of a kind of sort of Santa hat vibe going on over here, but that head right there, that is beautiful. And then we have a new Codex as well, and that is it. We have Thousand Sun Space Wolves, World Eaters, then Death Guard, then after that Chaos Knights, Imperial Knights, Black Templars and Grey Knights, and on the horizon Codex Space Marines Mark II, by the looks of things, given as they're showing Salamanders, Imperial Fists, and that's Leagues of Votan right next to it as well. But there you go. That is the majority. That is everything. That is all of the reveals from ADEPTICON. So, What do you guys think? Happy? Sad? Devastated? Upset? Excited? We had a pile of new members that I need to update. We're on 61. I think there's something like 20, 40, 50. So I think we're actually on that. Actually, it's probably closer to... It's that. Wait. That. There we go. Cathay got me feeling all kinds of good feels. Yeah, I agree, Lewis. Space Wolves is cool. Overall, 5 out of 10. Cathay, 9 out of 10. Yeah, I agree. Did the Grey Knights finally get scaled up? They did not, JD Studios. They got an upgrade sprue for the Dread Knight. And that is it, unfortunately. It does mean that the box I have with 15 Terminators and 30 Strike Marines in it is now still valid. So I'm happy. I could build those. Actually, finally get around to doing a Grey Knights army, rather than not, because I've been waiting to see what it was. It's weird that the Ravener box has 5 models, but a full unit of Raveners is 6. That or the datasheet's going to get changed. It could get redone because there's a bunch of extra stuff in there, like specialists and stuff like that, which would change it. So it might be that the Raveners datasheet will be changed to make it actually work. No new King Helm or new riders. Back to my sad corner of disappointment. Yeah, MESBG is due a big section of reveals, but they've been slowly trickling it out. I mean, look, Prince Imrahil was a really cool reveal the other day. I'm really excited for that. Bolg looked cool. The catapult troll as well. There is clearly a large wave of MESBG happening eventually. It's a shame that we didn't get to see any tonight. I kind of get it though. Adepticon might not really care. Does Adepticon last more than one day? It does. It'll go until Monday, I believe, or Sunday is the last day. I'm not sure, but this is the only reveal show from Games Workshop. So there you go. 95% we're getting plastic Azog. Yeah, maybe. That would be nice, wouldn't it? If more Space Wolf is coming, then I'm expecting a Lehman Russ model coming soon. Well, maybe not. You'd hope they'd kind of lead with that, but they didn't. So, but that would mean that this edition there were Fulgrim's the new Primarch for this edition, and who else? Because Angron and the Lion were last edition. Look, maybe Russ will appear, maybe not. Maybe one of the other Primarchs is on the way. Maybe Dawn or Vulcan. Who knows? We can only see. We can only wait and see. No more Primarchs, please. I mean, I kind of get it. I just want minis for the profiles in the new Lord of the Rings army book that don't have any. Yeah, I agree. I mean, look, we need a Helm Hammerhand. We need Olwyn and Leaf. Hera as well. Not just the Bride of Death model. Hill Tribe's Chieftain when? That's a good question. If Dawn returns, I hope he has the moustache. One can only hope, eh? Yeah, I mean, look. It's an alright set of reveals. I think it's one of those sets of reveals where when you introduce a faction like Space Wolves, but you don't lead with the Primarch, if indeed the Primarch is coming at all, you're just kind of left going, alright, where's the rest of it? And that kind of indicates to me either there's a lot more coming or there's not very much more coming, but they did say there is more to come. I would guess maybe a couple of characters are going to get, a couple of, named characters are going to get a redo. I would be surprised if Thunderwolves don't get something, or if they don't become a different data sheet or something. We'll have to wait and see and find out, because who knows. But it's just kind of one of those, I think, for AOS fans, as an AOS fan, it's very exciting to get Sand and Bone. That's very, very cool. It's very exciting. But to not see any new miniatures is a bit of a shame. But fine. We've had a lot. Soulblight Gravelords isn't even out yet. But who knows where they are. Imminent, I would assume. But I don't know. We'll have to see. So yeah, it is the question, I think, on everybody's lips at the moment in the AOS community, is where are the Soulblight Gravelords? I think once Soulblight Gravelords are out and there's a next reveal show, that is probably when we'll see a huge dump of miniatures for Age of Sigmar. And 40k, look, I mean, you're getting essentially 3 new sets of models for 3 new factions. It's kind of what we've kind of been predicting, that actually the main change for all of those armies is Chaos Demons going into those codexes, which, look, it's as a fan of new models who loves seeing new models and new cool things, it's cool from a faction point of view that you do now get to unlock all of those things. If it's the same as Emperor's Children, you don't really fully unlock them, because you're gaining basically add attachment to use about 1,000 points of demons, but we'll have to wait and see. We'll see what actually happens with those codexes. So it is what it is. But look, I mean, at the end of the day, it's 40k has been quite light, and Chaos, the God Legions aren't riddled with Finecast, so there's not actually a lot to do with them other than do sort of 3 or 4 units at a time, and in an edition and the same year where Emperor's Children has happened, I wasn't expecting World Eaters, Death Guard and Thousand Suns to get huge amounts of new stuff, as disappointing as it is. But there's nothing really to redo in there either, so maybe next edition that's where you'll see some of them get expanded, maybe not. We'll have to see. I mean, it is disappointing, but at the same time, if you are a big Death Guard fan and you've never collected any Nurgle Demons, you now have some impetus to pick up some Nurgle Demons, like for example the Great Unclean one, which is a really fun model to build and paint. Same for like the Lord of Change, same for the Bloodthirsters and stuff like that. So there is some cool stuff in that regard, which is nice, but it's not really new. It does speak of a completely different change for 40k, in that Chaos Demons had their own book and then they could be allied in rather than being located to the God Legions. It's kind of slow change in some ways, because AOS has had that for ages. Blades of Khorne, Disciples of Tzeentch, Hedonites of Slaanesh, the other one who I've already forgotten, Disciples of Tzeentch. No, I already said them. Blades. Oh, Maggotkin of Nurgle. It's been a mixture of demons and mortals for ages. So it is what it is. Also, Year of Chaos, but no Iron Warriors or Night Lords. I think for the Chaos factions, the main thing is making sure that there's enough for the God Legions before they do anything to do with Undivided. Basically, because that's where Iron Warriors and stuff was going to be. But we'll have to see. You don't know. It's March. It's the end of March. There are still 9 whole months to go of the year. So there's plenty of stuff in the pipeline, I'm sure, that's on the way. But there you go. Grand Cathay. Who'd have thought? Stealing the show for Warhammer, for Games Workshop. Old World. Who'd have thought it, eh? I was really excited for Old World, and then kind of not, and now I'm hyped for Cathay. So, there we go. Overall, I've really enjoyed myself this evening. You guys have been incredibly generous and very supportive tonight. I honestly cannot thank you enough. We had almost 300 concurrent viewers at one point. which is crazy. But not only that, just the amazing generosity of the people who've become members and gifted memberships. Mr. Glitch, the Cajun Wargamer, Eric Meehan, Scary Campfire Stories, Restreambot, Error, has been very, very generous this evening. Jacob Schutz, Josh Krieger, Lokir, Adam, ADR Wargaming, and Restreambot Error just becoming a member, gifting memberships, sending super chats. You guys have been amazing. I really, really, really do appreciate that. And I hope you enjoy watching these watch-along streams with me, your friendly neighbourhood Warhipster. We have fun, don't we? We have a good time. We enjoy things. We enjoy ourselves. And I really appreciate all of you for hanging out with me tonight and choosing me as your broadcaster of choice. Yeah, it is now 25 to 4 in the morning. I have a feeling we won't see the release for Soul Blight till middle of April. EC will probably be released next week. Maybe I'm completely in the dark. I have no idea what's going on. The last thing I heard about was Blood and Zeal, and that's what we've been working on. So there you go. We did the statue. Thanks for the stream. Lovely chat as always. You're very welcome, Sir Strumming Fish. So yeah, cool. Anyway, I don't think there's anything left to say, is there? Any final thoughts? Anyone? Any wishes? Any hopes? Any dreams? But we don't go to bed angry. That's the promise we made to each other when we got into this relationship. So, you know. Anyway. I wish you have a great week. I hope you have a great week too, Slide Guy 77. And I hope all of you have a great week if you are not already having a great one. I hope you have an even better one coming up very, very soon. There will be a painting video for you tomorrow and a painting video for you on Saturday. Tomorrow's video, I'm pretty certain, will be Goremongers from Blood and Zeal, the new World Eaters Kill team. So, yeah. If you're excited for that, check it out. If you're not excited for that, check it out anyway. That would be nice. Anyway, I am going to poodle off now and have a little sleep. Oh, just before that, Joshua says, "Hey mate, I want to give you a very big thanks. I started last July with AOS and your tutorials saved my hobby. I love my Seraphon and now I paint my Skaven Tide box with your tutorial. Greetings from Journey." Thank you very much, Joshua. Joshes stick together, eh? We're the best. Anyway, good night, everybody. Hand of farewell. And I shall see you all very soon for a painting video. And if I don't see you for that, I'll be live next week. Have a great night, everybody. You're the best in the world. See ya later. Bye-bye.